So hello everyone and I welcome you all to the IIT JEE Rankplus channel. In this video, I'll be covering each and every topic related to the gravitation. I'll be covering the concept, PYQs, and what else? The mind map. In the last, I'll be giving you the mind map as well. So, Vanakkam, Adarsh Anand. Hello guys, Hari, Abhishek Singh, and Abhishek Chauhan, Rakshana. Welcome to the class. Kindly fill the chat sections. Fire up fire up the chat session. Shall we start? So in this class, I'll be discussing the gravitational chapter, and in the gravitation chapter, we have the 8 topics. And if we look out the trend at how many questions are coming from the gravitation, so this is the recent trends from the last 5 years. In 2024, we got 20 questions. 2023, we have 36 questions. 2022, we have 22 questions. 2021, we have 34 questions. And in 2020, we have 17 questions. I can definitely tell you with this trend, if this trend follows, we will be getting one question that will ensure us that we'll be getting the 4 marks from this chapter, 4 marks to 8 marks. This chapter is very, very important. I'll be covering each and every topic in detail. We'll be doing multiple questions from one topic, and rather, hi, lovely VSR, Abhishek Chauhan. Any prerequisite, no prerequisite is required. Each and everything will be covered. Okay, if anything required, I'll be the one who will be discussing it with you. Do not take any tension when you are in my class. Okay, shall we start? So the thing started with the Kepler's law. Kepler was a very good scientist and he was a very good observer as well. His teacher was Tycho Brahe, and he took the inspiration from the Tycho Brahe observation, and he gave us 3 planetary models. I can say that you can easily remember the 3 laws of planetary using a trick which is eat. The trick is very easy to learn and very easy law to implement as well. The first law states that the path of the orbit, the path of the orbit is elliptical, because before this we were considering that the path is circular. So after this Kepler's, there were few scientists as well, that the Copernicus, Galileo, and the Tycho Brahe. Before Johannes Kepler, they also give us the same theory, but Tycho Brahe is the one who formulated this, and that's why we are studying this Johannes Kepler for the first thing which we have to study in the gravitation chapter. Okay, so the first thing what he gave to us is that the path of the orbit is elliptical. The E stands for the elliptical. And the second thing, what is ellipse here? Ellipse, this kind of shape is ellipse, and the spatial circle is the spatial part of the ellipse, where sun will be at one of the focus. There are 2 focus of the ellipse. Sun will be at one of the focus, and the planet is revolving. The planet is revolving around the closest position from the sun. This is the sun. The closest position is known as perihelion position. This position is known as perihelion position. This is the position where the planet is nearest to the sun. Planet is nearest to the sun. And also, when we are going far away, here, this position is known as aphelion position. These are fancy words just for the far point and near point. They are saying it that this is perihelion position, this is aphelion position. You just need to know that which positions. This is aphelion position. Okay, this is the farthest planet is farthest to the sun. I can say this simply as far point from the sun. Okay. And for the ellipse, I hope that you have studied the ellipse in your mathematics classes as well. And the distance from here to here is major axis. I'm considering this major axis as 2r. This is the minor axis here, distance from here. This is the minor axis, and I'm considering this as small 2r. So I hope that first law is clear to you. First law is only telling us that the path of the orbit is elliptical, and you must have basic knowledge about the ellipse, that the ellipse has two focus, and in one of the focus we have the sun. Is it clear? Crash course for EAP CET, sir. Lovely. This crash course is for JEE. We will think about EAP SET. Karedi, okay. How many of you want crash course for EAP CET? How many of you want? Hello, Jesse Pinkman. What a good name it is. Abhishek. How many of you want a crash course for EAP CET? I hope that this thing is clear. And let's move towards the second law. This is the second law. A. This law says that for equal time, the radius vector which starts from the sun, the radius vector from the sun to the planet, radius for equal time, the radius vector from the sun to the planet covers equal area. Okay, if we are, there is a condition. We have to keep the time same. If you are giving a same time to the planet, it will cover equal area. Law is very simple. Let me explain you further. I'm taking an ellipse. Here is the sun. We have to consider a radius vector starting from the sun to the planet. So here we are having a planet, and the planet is revolving around this from here to here. This planet sweeps some area. This is the area for a particular time, for a particular time span. Let me take a timestamp as t. And the area which this radius vector covers is A1. Similarly, if I'm keeping the time same, this planet will cover, this radius vector will cover the equal area somewhere else in the orbit. Simply, it is saying that if the time is constant, this area 1 is equals to area 2. Simple. This law is also very simple. And the third law, this is one of my favorite law, because if you get any question, by any chance, you are getting a question from the Kepler's law, this will be the formula which you have to use, right? And the formula or the law, the third law for the T, it states that the time period is proportional to the cube root. It states that the time period is proportional to the cube root of the semi-major axis. I can write this as square of time period . square of time period is proportional to the cube of semi major this. Okay. And if we are getting any constant, the easiest way to remove the constant is by dividing the equation. And if I divide this equation, I'll be getting one equation which I'll be using multiple times. You can say T1 divided by T2 gives me R1 divided by R2 whole to the power 3 by 2. T1 divided by T2 is equals to R1 divided by R2 whole to the power 3 by 2. This formula is very important, and this formula is very close to my heart because we are getting multiple questions from this formula only. And you know that what is the easiest way to get success in competitive exam is by looking the patterns, at which type of questions are coming. Because if you know the pattern, your speed will increase, right? If you know that this is the formula which we have to use multiple times if we are getting a question from this topic. I want you to have a mapping in your mind related to the question. The moment you see a question in your exam paper, instantly you must get at which topic and which formula you have to use. If it is a theoretical question, you have to know that this is the theory which you have to apply, and if it's a numerical, you must know that which formula you must apply there. This is all about what I have to tell you about the Kepler's law, and it's done. Kepler's law is just the 3 laws which I have stated. And here are the question. This question I have taken from H.C. Verma book. If you ask me that what is the best book, which is the best book, if you will be asking me that which is the best book, if you want to crack your JEE Main 2025, the best book will be H.C. Verma. This book is very small, very few number of questions are there, and if you solve each and every question, I can definitely tell you that physics will not be a difficult portion for you in the exam. Sir, how long is this lecture? Around 2 to 3 hours. Is voice and everything fine? Now, tell me, there is a question. Figure shows the elliptical path of a planet about the sun. So there is a sun, and the path is also given to us as elliptical. So the path is elliptical. Also in the question, they are mentioning that the two shaded parts have equal area. So if this area A1 from A to B, I have to mark A1 because T1 is the time taken by the planet to go from A to B, right? So I'm marking this as area 1, and from C to D, the time period is T2. So according to the question, it's given that A1 is equals to A2. That means they are checking the vice versa condition of the Kepler's law. In Kepler's law, I stated that if time is constant, the area, if time is constant, the area will be same. The planet will covers equal area. So here they are saying that if the areas are equal, then what you could comment about the time. So time will be equal here. T1 will be equals to T2. So I can say that B is the correct option. B is the correct option here. Okay, I want everyone. Your voice is fine. Okay. I want everyone to give the answer, because I want that even if you do not know the concept, even if you commit any mistake here, your mistake must happen in this session. It won't repeat in your exam. So it's better that you commit mistake here only, right? And do not worry about your mistakes. Let's move. This is the second question here, and this is from the real exam. According to the question, the figure shows the elliptical orbit of a planet M. So there is a planet. This is the planet around the sun. This is the sun. The shaded area SCD, I'm naming this shaded area as A1, twice the shaded area SP. So A1 is equals to twice of A2 according to the question. A1 is equals to twice of A2 according to the question. If T1 is the time for the planet, T1 is the time for the planet to move from C to D, and T2 is the time to move from A to B, can you tell me what will be the answer? Answer is in front of you. So here you can say T1 is equals to twice of T2. Using Kepler's law only, we are easily able to solve this question. Now Aditya, sir, इससे advance हो जाएगा? Will you be able to clear the advance? I'm telling you that I'm a kind of a teacher who teaches in various steps. And if you follow this lecture will be sufficient for your JEE Main, because I'll be touching the topics which are there in the JEE Advance, right? But if you say that this topic, this class will be sufficient for your JEE Advance, it won't. Because my main focus while giving the lecture for the crash course is to give a clear theory and the concepts and the questions which might come in your JEE Main exam, right? So I'll be covering the questions only as per JEE Main level exams, and I'll be taking few questions, few concepts, which if difficult questions will come, you will be able to solve that. And I want to tell one thing. The one thing which is very special for me and that makes me very special is that none of my student faces any issue initiating the question in JEE Advance or in any question of physics. Why I'm telling you? Because most of the time the student faces a very common problem which I felt, who are not my student, is that they do not know how to initiate the problem. They will be able to solve the question, like they can do the calculation, sometimes they know the theory, right? But they do not know that how to initiate the problem and how to think initially. And I'm a kind of a teacher who teaches them to think. So that is my USP, you can say. Hari, is it fine? So after studying from me, I can definitely tell you that you will be able to know that how to approach a question and how to initiate the question. If that is the problem, that problem would not be staying with you. Let's move to the another part. So this question, they are asking that which of the following quantities remains constant? In physics, the quantities which remains constant is very essential for us, because these are the connections. If we have to solve any numerical in physics, there are multiple times when we have to frame the equations. And when we are framing the equation, we have to equate one equation with the another. And if we are getting some common terms where I can say that these terms will remain constant, you can easily compare them, right? So it's better that you must know that in which conditions these things remains constant and in which conditions these won't. So let's, here, according to the question, we have to consider that the path is elliptical. And I want everyone to please answer in the chat. I want everyone to please answer in the chat. Read the question, take your time, but first you have to mark. First you have to mark that which is the correct answer here. Because if you are making mistake here, your mind will be trained that yes, you make some mistakes earlier on in the class, and you have to think in a correct manner, right? So let's begin. We have to consider an ellipse here. So it's ellipse. There is a sun. Okay, and now what I was telling you earlier, there is some planet. Obviously, planet will be uh, moving in an orbit here, P, and it's moving here to here, right? And as you know that at every time, not considered this, considered this here. I know that at every moment there will be a change in radius. If the path is elliptical, the radius will be changed, isn't it? It will be changing at every point, right? So we know that speed will also be changed here. And if we are talking about angular speed is v is equals to r omega. So omega is equals to v by r, and if r is changed, you can say that speed and angular speed, both of them are changing, right? Speed and angular speed, both of them are changing. So I can tell that this won't be the answer, this won't be the answer, and speed, if speed is changing, then the kinetic energy is also changing. The only option which is left here is the angular momentum. So you have to note down that when the path is elliptical, there are few quantities which remains constant. There are few quantities which remains constant. The first one is the L. L is for angular momentum, and this angular momentum remains constant here. It remains constant throughout the journey. Also, I can say that aerial velocity is also constant. Aerial velocity is also constant here. And if I'm talking about the aerial velocity, you can write it as dA by dt. dA by dt is equals to, okay, so these are very important points, and I have seen multiple tests. In multiple tests, this has been asked. Okay, sir, please remove sunglasses. Okay, if you want to see my eyes, these are my beautiful eyes. Shall we move? What is aerial velocity? Very good question. Aerial velocity represents that the speed by which it covers the area. You can say that this is the area velocity. Remember, I told you that here in Kepler's law, the easiest way to learn the Kepler's law is by remembering this mnemonics, EAT. And if you remember this EAT, I told you that A stands for the area. For equal time, the radius vector is sweeping the equal area, right? For equal time, the radius vector is sweeping the equal area. So if my planet is sweeping equal area, that means the aerial velocity is constant. So that is what I'm writing here. The aerial velocity is constant, dA by dt is equals to constant here. Okay, speed is not constant, but aerial velocity is constant. Hari, wait, one teach B. So please teach one time. One time means what? Clear, my dear? Shall we move forward? Let's move. I want all of you to mark the answers. And in this question, there are multiple correct answers. Multiple correct. Multiple options are correct. Multiple options are correct. Multiple options are correct. So do let me know. And there is one habit which I want to inculcate in you. Whenever you are solving any question, your eyes must be towards the options as well. First see the question, then the options. The question solving ability must be there in your mind. See, consider a planet moving in an elliptical orbit. So the orbit is elliptical here around the sun. The work done on the planet by the gravitational force, because as we know that the work done is always being done by some force. So now in this question, the work done, we have to find out the work done by the gravitational force, right? And in all the options, we are seeing that they are saying that work done is 0, work done is 0, work done is 0, work done is 0. In all the options, they are saying that work done is 0. Then I told you that the first thing which comes to your mind whenever you are seeing any question is that from which topic the question has been asked. Second thing which you have to see is which formula you have to use. So here I'm telling you that the work done, we already know that the work done is basically a dot product of force and the displacement vector. And I want to tell you one thing, that if you do not know the concept, please let me know in the chat. Do not feel ashamed if you are asking doubts, right? So work is equals to F dot S. I can write it as Fs cos theta. I'm a kind of a person who splits the given conditions into multiple parts. So I can tell you that this work is basically depending upon the three things: force, displacement, and the cos theta. And to make this work to be 0, I can say that conditions for work done 0. First condition, that force must be 0. Second condition, the displacement must be 0. There will be no displacement at all. The third condition is force must be perpendicular to the displacement. And if I'm telling you that the force is displacement to the perpendicular, you can say that theta must be 90 degree, and if theta is 90 degree, cos 90 is equals to 0. So in only these three conditions, you will be getting your answer for the work done to be 0. There is no fourth condition. I'm a kind of a teacher who will teach you in pattern, and if you remember my patterns, I can definitely tell you your speed in the exam will increase. There are few hacks. If you use those hacks, your speed while solving the numericals of the physics will increase drastically, and you will see the change, because I'm a kind of a teacher who wants instant change in my students. Instant change which are visible to you instantly. The moment you study with me, the moment you started to feel, yes, something is different. This is the pattern. Work done is 0. And if I'm telling you that the work done is 0 here, so I just need to check that in these options, where will be the force is 0, displacement is 0, or the angle is 0. So here I can clearly see that 0 in one complete revolution. No matter what is the path, gravitational force is a conservative force. Gravitational force is a conservative force. That means it do not depends upon the path. So when the initial and final points are same, the displacement is 0. So I can say that work done is 0 here. Is it clear, my dear? But out of these three options, one option is also correct, and I have to identify that which of the option is correct. Solving MCQ exam is like finding the correct answer from the given options already. So is 0, if you now read the options very carefully, is 0 in any small part of the orbit, in some parts of the orbit, in no parts of the orbit. can you tell me that out of these three options, I can definitely tell you by logic only that only one options could be the correct. The first is telling me that in any part. So if work done is 0 in any part, in some part, in no part, and if I'm telling you that if work done is 0 in no part, they are saying that work done is 0 in no part. Complete part, in complete part, I can definitely say that my work done is 0. This option is not there, right? So I have to check that in any part and in some part, what is the special condition is, I'm drawing this for you. Take an elliptical path here. Consider sun at the center of the focus. Sun is here and planet is revolving around this. Okay. We know that due to the gravitational force only, the planet is revolving around this beautiful sun due to the gravitational force. So gravitational force can't be 0 here. Whether this planet is at this position or this position or any position, the gravitational force will not be 0. For the displacement, if I'm considering only the small part, the displacement will not be 0. So that means I have to only check few things. I have to check only few things. Abhinav Mani, sir, is it? Abhinav, very good question. We have to use then we have to consider that is there any point where force and displacement are 0? Let me assume here this is my displacement vector, and at this position there could be some points, some parts of the orbit where force is displacement to force is perpendicular to the displacement. This is the force vector, this is the displacement vector, and they are perpendicular to each other. So I can say that this is the second options which could be correct here. Here force is perpendicular to the displacement. That means you can say that theta is equals to 90 degree. I hope that you get this answer correct. Is it clear? Very good question it is. Abhinav Mani. Yes, this is for the JEE Main 2025. Let's move further. Now, here, another question. The question is saying, if the Earth be 1/2 of its present distance from the Sun, how many days will be there in 1 year? Assuming that the orbit of the Earth is elliptical, I'm considering Sun at one of the focus, and here the Earth is revolving. Okay, and we know that Earth revolves around the Sun and take 365 days. According to the question, what is happening here? If I'm considering the radius as r1, here what is happening? If the Earth be half of the present distance from the Sun, you have to reduce the orbit. Okay, so r2 is equals to r1 by 2. This is half as compared to the previous, and we have to find out that what is the time period in this condition. So this is the initial condition, this is the condition where we have to calculate. So how we will be going to approach? I already told you that whenever you find any difficult question, there is a complete solution. The complete solution is use my favorite formula, which I told you earlier, that the formula is T1 by T2 R1 R2 raised to the power 3 by 2. Here you can use 365 divided by T2 is equals to R1 divided by R1 to the power 3 by 2. You can use it as 365 divided by T2 is equals to 2 to the power of 3 by 2. This is 8. You can write it as 2 root 2. Okay. And do not forget to join our Telegram group, because all the things which I am doing here, you will be getting notes on our Telegram channel. So Telegram channel link is in the description. Yes, it's in the description. You have to join that Telegram channel as well. So T2 here is 365 divided by 2 root 2. And the value of 1 by root 2, you have to remember, if you are giving the JEE 2025 this time, the value is 0.707. 1 by root 2 value is 0.707. So here it's 0.707 multiplied by 365 divided by 2. This is 182.5. And if you solve it, that will be 129 days. So this is the value which you are getting, 129 days. So from 365 days, in 1 year we are having 365 days. We are moving. If the earth will be very close to the sun, the year will be of 129 days only. So you will be getting very few days for your JEE preparation. So it's better that we are staying away from the sun. Right? Abhinav, Hari, Pravi, option C. Okay, Mr. Cricket, what's your real name? What's your real name? Anyone from Telugu? Next question. This question is from JEE Main PYQ. Look at the question. The question states that the time period of a satellite of Earth is 24 hours. If the separation between the Earth and the satellite is decreased to 1/4 than the previous value, then its new time period will become. I want all of you to answer this question. I want all of you to answer this question. This question is from JEE Main PYQ. I know that this is from JEE 2023, because one of my students got full marks in physics, 100 percentile, and this was the question in his exam. Nishi, are you able to solve it? You have to use my favorite formula. I already told you that whenever you got struck and you are seeing that the question is from Kepler's law, what I told you, the magic pill to solve numericals in physics is to just see the question, identify. There must be some process. You know that this 21st century is for the artificial intelligence. This 21st century will be known for the artificial intelligence advancement in the technologies, right? So you have to train the technology. When you reach the IITs, NITs, or triple IITs, or any government college or private college, you have to learn all these things. The easiest step is to think in terms of steps, right? And the step is just read the question, identify from which topic they are asking, and identify the formula. So if I am seeing here that they are basically relating the time period with the with some distance, I know that this is the formula related to the Kepler's law. So Kepler's law, T1 divided by T2, R1 divided by R2, power 3 by 2. So here T1 is 24 hours, T2 we have to find out. R1, if we are talking about R1, keep the R1 as R1, and the distance between the satellite is basically decreased. So I am taking this as R1 divided by 4 raised to the power of 3 by 2, right? So you can write this as 24 divided by T2. This 4 will goes up, R1 and R1 will be cancelled out. This is right. Take the square root first. 2 to the power of 3. We'll be getting 8 here. So T2 is 24 divided by 8. 8 3 is 24. So 3R, we are getting the correct answer. So if you are getting the answer correct, then I want you cheer yourself. You have to like scream, yes, you done it. In today's world, there are very few people who will be cheering it for you. So you have to inculcate a habit that whenever you are doing something great, something which you always wanted to, cheer it, enjoy it. So if you done it correct, give yourself that you will be able to clear the JEE exam. Let's see another question. And tell me how many of you got the correct answer. Tell me in the comment. Sir, how root 8 comes? Please replay. Oh, how this is coming. Okay. Let me tell you that's how I solved this. I'm getting 4 to the power 3 by 2. Is it okay for you? Here I can write this as 2 to the power of 2 and power 3 by 2, right? If I'm taking this power here, I'll be getting 2 to the power 2 into 3 by 2. This will be cut and I'm getting 2 to the power 3. If you multiply 2 3 times, you'll be getting 8. This is what I have done. Okay, Adarsh Anand, add more drawing. Hi. Nishi, you got the correct answer. C. Ravi, I get 129.4. It's okay. In your JEE exam, there are two sections. Section A, you'll be getting 20 questions, right? Those 20 questions will be MCQs. There might be some assertion and reasoning in those section A. And in section B, you have to solve numericals type questions. And in those numerical type question, you have to round off the things. So if I am getting 129 point something something, the answer will be 129. Okay, that will be mentioned there. This question is from JEE Main PYQ. And similarly, this question is also from JEE Main PYQ. That was from JEE 2023 and this is from the latest exam, JEE Main 2024 April shift. So if you are able to, even after watching this complete solution, if you are able to solve this, that means that it's not about the, I always tell my students that it's not about the skill, it's about the will. If you have the will that yes, you wanted to clear the entrance exam JEE Main 2025, you can easily do it. Just follow me, what I am telling you. You will see the result, because I am a kind of a teacher who gives instant result, who believes in instant result, because this is the generation who wants instant result, and instant result is by getting stuck with the patterns. So whatever I am teaching you, stuck, right? Simple. Oh wow, 25. Now, because why I am telling you that you have to learn the patterns, I have seen that there is a pattern. If you become successful, there is a pattern, because every successful people leaves its footprint. Every successful people leaves its footprint, and if you follow those footprints, you will become successful. What I am telling you, that if you are solving the previous year questions, there are some questions which you can easily ignore, and there are some questions which you have to like follow them. This question, what is there? 1/4, right? 1/4, and you are getting that if this is 1/4 divided by 8, if the distance is decreased by 1/4, you know that you have to divide the time period. You have to divide the time period by 8, right? And here also, the time period given to us as 200 days in one revolution, and they are asking that if the distance of the planet from the sun is reduced, so they are also reducing by how much they are reducing by they are reducing by 1/4. So you know that the new how many days they are asking, that will be T2, the given days 200 divided by 8, so 425. That's why I am telling you again and again that this is the skill which you have to learn. The only strategy which I can say you that this strategy will not fail, because in a decade of experience which I am having, I'm sharing you the best strategy for cracking the JEE Main 2025 exam. This strategy works for JEE Advanced, this strategy works for Olympiad. I have seen it, I have implemented it, and I have transformed millions of students. How? See, this strategy, I have given this strategy a name, and this is known as RUC strategy. You have to look for pattern. In 21st century, I'm telling you that this is the skill which you have to learn anyway. And once you started to learn this and implementing this strategy in any field, whether it's your personal life, in personal life also you can implement these strategies. Because I believe that the physics which I'll teach you, you might forget. But the approach which I'll be going to teach, it will remain forever with your life. And even if you talk with your friends, you will be discussing that, yes, Manoj sir told this thing. This kind of impression I'll be leaving in your life. So I'm telling you that you have to, whenever you are solving any question, whenever you are solving any question, because we have to implement this for the exam, whenever you are solving any question, don't see question. Because question is not important for me. What is important for me is to see the pattern of the question. So see the pattern, what is there in the question, and the first thing is you have to recognize the pattern. Recognize the pattern of the question. And once you recognize the pattern of the question, that can you see there is a pattern? And I told you that this question is from the consecutive year. This question is from JEE Main 2023, and this question is from JEE Main 2024. Even if the student has attempted 1 year previous year question, he will be able to solve this question, right? So you have to first recognize the pattern, and once you recognize the pattern, you must know how to use the pattern. And there is advantage of using the pattern, that if you are familiar with the pattern, your speed will increase drastically. You will be seeing a transformation in you. And I can tell you that in this decade of experience, what I am having, if the student, nothing can give you more confidence than solving a question and getting the correct answer when you are matching it with the solution. Nothing can be compared with that confidence when you are solving a question and you are getting a correct answer when you are matching it with your answer sheet. Nothing will give you more confidence than actually scoring in a test. You cannot compare that confidence with anything. And these are the things which I'm telling you will give you the confidence. And once the confidence started, the momentum started, you will be studying more. And when when you started to sit for more time, your score will improve, and you will see this result. Your parents will see this result. I will see this result. You will be sharing this result with me. Connect with me in the Telegram. The link is in the chat and also in the description. So if you haven't joined our Telegram group, please join the Telegram group. The first thing which you have to use is recognizing the pattern. Whenever I'm telling you, whenever you are seeing any question, you have to recognize that question. And once you recognize that question, you have to use that question, use that patterns multiple times. Like I told you that there is one time period given to you, and if the I can make a shortcut trick from that. But what will happen if I'll create the shortcut trick, you will forget it. Concept is more important. There are so many shortcut tricks which I can tell you here, but you will remember only for a very short duration. It won't work. I'm telling you, it won't work. I'm taking 5 classes, one after the another. That's why I'm able to remember all the formulas. You will not be able to remember all the shortcut tricks. This can only be done when tomorrow is your exam and you know that these are the shortcuts and similar type of questions comes, then only you'll be able to use. But if you are following or recognizing the pattern, you'll be using that pattern, your speed will increase and you'll able to remember this for a very long time. I'm telling you. And the third thing is the ultimate, when you are becoming a boss, that now you are able to create a new pattern, or if there is new pattern of questions, you know that how to approach that. You know that how to approach that question. I When I started the session, I told you that I have one talent, that my student never faces a small issue that they do not know how to solve, how to start the question. None of my student faces this problem that they do not know how to start the question. They always know that this is going to be done in the question. It might happen they do not know the formula. It might happen that they just know the concept, but they do not know how to implement it. But they know that how to start the question. That is the skill which I am having. So this is the strategy which you have to use. So whenever you are solving any question, just look for the pattern. Look for the pattern and recognize that this type of question is coming. And whenever I'm telling you that when you are solving any question, look for the pattern for the theory part, that from which part this question has been framed. Look for the numerical, that these types of numericals are coming. Look for the formula, because there are limited formulas. Again and again you'll be getting a question based on that formula. Let's move to the another part. So here, a easy peasy question for you. Solve this question and give me the answer, and tell me that answer. The period of revolution of planet A around the sun is 8 times that of B. The distance of A from the sun is how many times greater than that of B from the sun? I want the answer from everyone. If you are attending this lecture, I do not want you to attend this lecture by sitting on your couch. I want you to be ready with your paper and pen and solve these questions with me. Take it as a real exam. Solve this. I told you that first you have to read the question, right? First you have to read the question, and then you have to map this question with the concept and map this question with the formula which I have used. So here there is a time period of revolution and the distance. So we know that my favorite formula will be used here from the gravitational chapter, R1 by R2 power raised to 3 by 2. The time period here is given to you. The time period of revolution of planet A, I'm taking this planet as A, is equals to 8 times of planet B. So T1 is equals to 8 times of T2, right? So T1 divided by T2, you can write it as 8, right? From here, if I'll write T1 divided by T2, that will be the 8. So 8 is equals to R1 divided by R2 power 3 by 2. If I'll squaring both side, if I'll square both side, I'll be getting 64, and this 1 by 2 power will be not be there on right hand side. So I'll be getting R1 by R2 to the power 3. Now I'm taking the cube root. So 4 to the power of 3 is equals to R1 R2 to the power of 3. This power will be cut, and you will be getting R1 is equals to 4 times of R2. And if you see the recent pattern of JEE exam, basically they will not be giving you the directly question. Like they can give you R1 is equals to 4 times of R2, but they haven't given you. They are asking you the number which you have to write. So here, this is the correct answer, 4. C option is the correct. How many of you get the correct answer? Please let me know in the chat. No. C. Pravi. RUC mean Are Hari. Everything. RUC stands for recognizing you and creating. These are the steps which you have to follow. First, you have to recognize, then you have to use, then you have to create. And the moment you started to create the pattern, because like one of my student, Shashank, got selected in IIT recently, and he is in IIT Delhi, staying in Janskar hostel. In IIT Delhi, there is a hostel named Janskar. So he's staying in Janskar, and I have been there with him when he got the admission, I was there, right? So I'm telling you that he was a student who can say that, sir, these types of questions will be there in my exam. He was so good at recognizing the pattern that even before going to the exam, he told me that, sir, this type of questions have come in 2014 JEE Advanced exam, and I hope that these types of questions will come in my exam. And similar type of exams questions were there. So I'm telling you that these are the strategies which I am using from decades, 10 years. I'm using this strategy and I'm seeing the transformation. You have to use this. Try this for 1 week. You will be started seeing the result. The next thing, Kepler's law is finished, and so my dream college is IIT Bombay. Do you know that recently one ranking has come, and in that IIT Delhi is at the topmost position. Okay, take a dream of coming to IIT Delhi, and if you will be in IIT Delhi, I'll be there for you anytime. And I promise you that you won't get dragging there. So let's start. Universal law of gravitation in 1665, Newton. There is an old story that Newton was sitting under a apple tree. The apple falls, and he started to think. The scientists are a very great thinkers, and Newton was one of them. Due to the plaque in the Cambridge universities were closed, and he got the holidays at that time. So during those free times, he discovered that all objects, due to their masses, attracts another object, and he gave us a beautiful law of gravitation. So I am assuming that when there are 2 point masses of m1 and m2 and they are separated by a distance r, the forces between them is equals to g m1 m2 divided by r square, where the value of g is 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11. If you want to get the unit for g, it's very easy. Ratan Tata said that if you want things to be done very fast, you can only do it by moving alone. So if I want to get the unit of g, I must ensure that this g will remain alone. So the formula will become fr square m1 m2. And you know that this force is Newton, this is meter. So I can write this as Newton meter square per kg square. Okay. So this is my formula, and there are few important points which you have to remember. Few important points regarding the gravitational law, universal gravitational law, that it does not, or I can write it's independent. It's independent of the medium. It's independent of the medium in which the masses are placed. No matter the masses are placed in air, vacuum, oil, or anywhere, So it is independent of the medium in which the masses are placed. Let's assume that if this is mass m1, this is mass m2, the distance between them is r, and I'm taking this as vacuum. So in vacuum, we are getting a force as F is equals to G m1 m2 divided by r square, right? And what will happen if all the conditions remain same? Same mass m1, same mass m2, and here we are placing this in water. We are placing this in water. If we are placing this in water, will it change the gravitational force? Will it change the gravitational force? Water, oil, anything. You can consider it water, oil, or any other material. I'm telling you that the force will remain same. F G1 G m1 m2 divided by r square. It will remain same. Why? Because G is independent. G is independent of medium. It do not depend upon the medium. As I know that you all are targeting JEE 2025, is there anyone who is targeting JEE 2026? Because I want to share one important point. I know that if you are targeting JEE 2025, you must have studied the electrical charges and field. And in electrical charges and field, you must have studied that there is one value K, dielectric constant, and that dielectric constant basically depending upon the medium, right? Or you can say in Coulomb's law, we are getting a Coulomb's constant. That Coulomb's constant depends upon the medium. But here we are getting that the G is independent of the medium. Is it clear? Done, done, done. Wait a minute. I hope it's clear. My dear. Still there are few points which I have to discuss. Before moving to the next part. Shall we move? Second point. It's applicable only for point object. You cannot use the same formula. You cannot use the same formula for the extended object. What are the extended object? Extended object is like this pen. This is a kind of a rod, and I'm talking about this is only applicable for the point object, just like these two balls. If these two balls are separated by a very large distance, I can consider these two balls as a point object, right? So this is what I'm saying here, that these gravitational laws are only applicable for the point object. Third thing, they form action and reaction. They form action reaction pair. Next, fourth point. Fourth point, gravitational force is a conservative force. It's a conservative force. Central force. Okay, let's start the numericals part here. Even though the forces are same, because the forces depends upon the product of the masses m1 multiplied by m2. If you increase one mass, the forces will be increased on both the sides, but the acceleration will be different because the acceleration depends upon the mass. This will be more clear when we will solve this question. Solve this question and tell me the answer. I'm taking a mixture of MCQs and the numerical type questions. Why? Because as you know that in JEE exam, you will be getting two sections. Section A, you have to solve MCQs, and in section B, you have to solve numerical type question. So you can only win the game is by playing the game. If you only solving the MCQs, you won't be able to solve numerical types. So you must be familiar with the numerical type. So consider this question as a numerical type. So in this question, you are getting two particles. There are two particles. The mass is 1 kg and the 2 kg. are placed at a separation of 50 centimeter, assuming that the only force acting on the particle are the mutual gravitation and no other forces are acting on it. So initial acceleration you have to find out, right? So consider that there are two masses, m1 is 1 kg, m2 is 2 kg. The distance between them is 0.5 meter. Remember one thing, that if you want to score more, please follow me. My name is Manoj Sir, and this short form is MKS in my previous institute. And I always tell my students that this is the unit system which you have to follow. You have to follow me, Manoj Sir, and you have to follow this unit. You keep the length in meter, weight in kg, and the time in second. Keep length in meter, weight in kg, and the time in second. And your life will be very easy. Your answers will started getting the correct solution. Ready? Tell me, what is the solution? Force, if I first find out the force will be G m1 m2 divided by r square, 6.67 multiplied by 10 to the power of minus 11, 1 into 2 divided by 0.5 multiplied by 0.5. Why I'm writing it as 0.5 multiplied by 0.5? Because there are some situations where students commits a mistake. And I am always telling that this is not a silly mistake, this is a blunder mistake, because I do not want you to attempt JEE exam multiple times, right? So one time is sufficient. So here I'm writing this as 0.5 multiplied by 0.5, and 0.5 is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 multiplied by 1 by 2, that means 4, and this will become 8. So you can write 6.67 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 10 to the power of minus 11. Okay, and if you multiply this 6.67 multiplied by 8, you will be getting 8 5 40, 8 6 48, 7 56, 48 53, 53, 53.36. So force is equals to 53.36 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 11. You can write it as 5.336 10 to the power of minus 10. This is the force which you are getting. Okay, now I have to find out the acceleration. So forces are same. This is also experiencing this force, this is also experiencing this force, but the acceleration will be different because a1 is equals to f by m1, and the acceleration for second is equals to f by m2. Even though the forces are same for both the masses, because as per the gravitational law, we know that force basically is proportional to the product of the masses, and even if you increase one mass, the same increment will be there to the second mass, but the acceleration will be different. So for getting the acceleration for m1, I can write it as force is 5.336 multiplied by 10 to the power of 10, and mass is 1. So this is the acceleration what we are getting. Okay, and for a2 is basically 5.336 divided by 2 multiplied by 10 to the power of minus 10. Can cut it 2 to the 4.668. So you'll be getting 2.668 multiplied by 10 to the power of minus meter per second square. This is the answer which you are getting. Done? Done? Nishi Hari, sir, is it in centimeter or meter? It's already given in the question. I know that my handwriting is not good. That's why I'm coming with the typed question. So if cm is there, that will be centimeter. Can we move? Let's move to the next part. Let's move to the next part. This question is important for the concept as well as your numerical. Read the question. Question says that the gravitational force between 2 point masses m and m. There are 2 point masses, a small m and a capital M, separated by a very small distance r. It's F. So the initial condition which is given to us is there is a small mass m, there is a big mass m. They are separated by a distance, and we know the force acting between them is F, and the force is Gmm divided by r square. This is the force which we are getting here, and it's given to us as F. Now, if a point mass 3m, in the next step, what they are asking, they are saying that if you place another mass, if you place another mass here, and the mass is 3m next to m, placed next to m. So I placed this mass next to m. What will be the force on m due to m? What will be the force on m due to m? Will it be affected? You tell me. Will it be affected? I always tell my student that there is a few approach in physics which won't change. And I know that you haven't studied with me, right? So this is my first lecture on this channel, and you might not know all the approaches which I am following. But through this question and in the few next questions, I'll be discussing one unique approach which you won't find anywhere, because this is unique for me. I always tell my student that when you are solving the numericals related to the physics, there is two things which is very important. The first one is the science, which is same for all, which is same for me, same for you, same for other teachers, same for other students. And the second thing is the art. When you are solving any numerical in physics, there are two things. The first one is the science, and the second one is the art. And you know that I am an artist, and I know that how beautifully you can solve difficult questions in a most unique way. That is what I'm going to tell you. So Nishi, Hari, Pravi, Adarsh, add more drawing, Madish, Avinav. You tell me, guys, what is the answer here? Do not be afraid of getting a wrong answer here. Nobody will be your partner. Some of you might be sitting here in search of the partner that you will be getting here, and for putting an impression on them that you are a very good student and you do not want to make a mistake, right? Is there anyone who is there who is afraid of making mistake because they do not want them to be ashamed in front of their future partner? Is there anyone? See here what is happening. I'm telling you that the force on m due to m, it has already been given here that the force on m due to m is F. So if it does not change, it remains same. Why? It is like the score which you are getting does not depends upon the score which your friend will be getting or which any other student will be getting. Is your score depending upon the another student? No. Your score depends upon you. It's not about the condition, it's about the decision which you make. Like the decision you make today that you will be learning this new topic with me. This is the decision which you make, and this decision help you to get the 4 marks guaranteed. Right? So what I am telling you here, that the force on m due to m will not be affected even though there is 3m. The force will not be affected. Net force will be affected, but this force won't be affected. Your rank might be affected. Your rank might be affected, but your score won't be affected. Are you getting my point? In JEE Main, your score is independent of any other student, but your rank depending upon all other students. Are you getting my point? How much you are scoring in JEE Main does not depending upon any other student, but your rank depends on all the students, right? So it remains same. And in the second part also they are asking that force on M due to M when they are placed in water, it's also remains same because G is independent, right? You know that G is independent of the medium and it do not depend upon the medium. So even though we are keeping these masses in water, it won't affect our gravitational force. Is it clear, my dear? Now let's move to the next part. It is asking you what is the F net, and for calculating the F net, I must say that you can consider this M and 3M as a combination. Consider this M and 3M as a combination, that will become 4M, right? Consider this as a combination. Your masses will be 4mm divided by r square, because the distance we are keeping it, we are separating both these masses by distance r only. So I'll be getting 4 times of EMM divided by r square. And from here you can say that this GMM divided by r square is equals to F. So F net is equals to 4 times of F. So if this question will be in the MCQ format, you will be getting this option as correct answer. Hari? Is it clear, my dear? Now lit the comment section with the fire emojis. If everything is clear till now, lit the comment section with the fire emojis. Put the fire emojis in the comment section, or the heart emojis. Put the heart emojis or the fire emojis in the comment section. How come 4, sir? Oh, 4, because here this M and this M, a small m here and a 3m, 3 plus 1 is 4m. That's why I'm putting here 4m. It's like take my example. I'm having one weight, right? I'm having one weight. I'll put my sunglasses. My weight will be increased, right? My weight will be increased. This is a similar kind of thing. The particle is having a mass m. We have placed another particle which is having a 3m mass. The mass will be increased. And similarly, if I'll take this dumbbell with me, my weight is further increased, right? If I'll take this dumbbell with me, my weight will further increase. So this kind of thing is happening here. And one of the students told me that, sir, please remove the sunglasses. So I'm removing my sunglasses. Gamers Beast. Hurry, okay. So I'm telling you, put the fire emojis and put the fire emojis, heart emojis in the chat. So let's move to the next question. Next question is here. I told you that gravitational force which we were calculating has its own limitations because they are only applicable in the point object. But what will happen if I am having one extended object, right? If what will happen if I am having one extended object like this? This is a road, and due to this road, I want to calculate the gravitational force at this point. Can I apply? Can I apply a gravitational force formula directly? No, I can't. Because gravitational force formula is only applicable for the point object. So there are few adjustments which we have to do. And I told you that I'm a kind of a teacher who will many adjustment for you. So there are few steps which we have to follow. Follow me for more updates, kind of. So I'm taking one road here. The length of the road is L. The mass of the road is M. I'm considering a road of length L. The mass is M, and at a distance x from this end, I'm putting a small mass m here. And I have to find out that what is the gravitational force experienced by this mass due to this road. This is what I have to find out, right? So for finding out this thing, I have to do some adjustment, and there is some approach. I always tell my student that when you are solving any numerical, do not see the easiest approach to this question is we won't be seeing the picture shown by the question. I always tell to my student that don't see the picture, see the pixel, divide it into multiple parts. Don't see the picture, see the pixels. If you started to see the pixels, what is the pixel here, sir? What is the pixel? Pixel comes in photography, sir. Why you are using this in physics? What actually I meant is see everything by dividing it into multiple parts. Just if you are watching a dance, if you are watching a dance, dancing Allu Arjun, if you are seeing, sir, we can take small elements. Yes, this is what I'm telling you. You have to take a small elements, but there is another way of telling that thing, because I want that each and every student must know. The questions will be different, the approach will be same, and that's why I'm writing here as approach. This approach you can use multiple times, multiple places in physics. And once you are well acquainted with these approaches, there are only 3 approaches which we are using in physics. Nothing else. There is no 4th approach. Only 3 approaches are there, and I'm telling you, I'm the master. I told you that science is same for all. When you are solving numericals in physics, there are only 2 things. First one is the science, and the second one is the art. The science is same for everyone. The art is different for everyone, right? And I am an artist. So I'm telling you that assume that you are watching a dance. Now tell me, who is your favorite dancer? Who is your favorite actor? Who is your favorite actress? Tell me in the comment. And I'm telling you that I'm watching a favorite. Oh, there is balloons are coming. Great. So I'm telling you that I'm telling you that I'm watching a dance from a very good dancer. I can tell you that a very good dance he's doing. But if I'm sitting adjacent with a dancer or a dance teacher, can you imagine that he can tell me at which step he is doing? And just after watching his dance, he can give me the steps that you can do this kind of steps if you want to learn this type of dance. Can you? Similarly, if you see any cook, or even I can say that your mother, if he tasted any food, he can tell you that what is the fault in the food, or what is missing in the food, which if you add, you'll be getting a very good taste. Isn't it? Similarly, in physics, what you have to do is divide each steps into multiple parts. And if you started to applying this picture and pixel approach, I'm telling you that you will be able to solve multiple questions using this approach only. And what is the approach here? So I am not able to find out I'm not able to apply the gravitational force directly. So what I'll be doing, I'll be taking a very small element here. I'm taking a very small element here. The small element mass is dm at a distance of r. I'm considering at a distance r, a very small element, the length of the element is dr, the mass is m, and I am like now, what is here? The mass is there, and at a distance r, I am having a small mass dm, right? And due to this m and dm, I'm considering this dm as capital M. And due to this small dm and m, you can easily found a small force. df. Why I'm writing a small d here? Because this is the small force due to the small mass. This will be equals to g dm divided by r square, right? And you have to find out, you have to, if you again take another element, another element, another element, another element, if you add on, if you add up all these elements, right? If you add up all these elements, you will be ultimately getting the force, the net force due to this load on this mass. So this is what we have to do. And from where it is starting from a distance x, until where it is going till x plus L. So if I need to find out f, that means it will be an integration of df, and starting from x to the x plus L, right? So you can write it as g x to x plus L g m dm r square. And now we have to replace this dm, and there is an easy method for finding the dm. Consider the length, the mass. If the length is L, the mass is m. If the length is 1, I'm using a unitary method here. If the length is L, the mass is m. If the length is 1, the mass is m by L. If the length is dr, the mass is dm, and that is equals to m by L of dr. This is what I have to substitute here. You can take this as common. gmm divided by L r square is common. R square is not common. L dr divided by r square from x to x plus L. Okay. And another thing which you have to know, if I have to integrate 1 by x square dot dx, it means I'm integrating x to the power of minus 2 dx, right? Integration is very simple if it is related to the power function. What is power function? We have one variable and it is raised to the power some power. So I'm having this power function. You can easily solve this by minus 2 plus 1, minus 2 plus 1, and I'm getting it as minus 1 by x. So the integration of 1 by x square dx is minus of 1 by x. So this is what I have to write here. This is what I have to write here. F will become gmm divided by L. I'm taking a minus sign front, 1 by r, x plus L divided by x. This is my technique, because sometimes what happen is, if you are considering negative sign here only, there could be a chances of getting a wrong answer. Why? Because you may commit some mistake, calculation mistake. So for avoiding that calculation mistake, what I do is I'm not taking minus sign here, I'm taking minus sign here. So I have taken minus sign here, and you can write it as gmm divided by L, 1 by x plus L minus of 1 by x. Right? So again, you can write, take negative sign again back, gmm divided by L, 1 by x minus of 1 by x plus L. Okay. Now, so that will become gmm divided by L, L x plus L. L cancel out. And I'm getting a final answer as f is equals to divided by x plus L. So this is the final answer which I'm getting here. gmm x by L. I hope that you all get this final answer. Same answer. Even though if you didn't get the answer, I hope you get the approach which I wanted to tell you. Is the approach clear? Sir, how come L from demonstrate? Sir, can you take a class on basic physics? Which basic physics? Means first you have to identify that where you are getting a problem. Are you getting problem in the integration, or are you getting the problem in differentiation? If you face any issue anywhere while solving the numericals, you have to first identify that where is the problem. Is the problem in integration, differentiation, vectors, trigonometry? Where are you getting this problem? And then let me know. I'll take a session. You just you have to request me. I'll take the session. Don't worry about anything. Okay? Minus 1 by x. It's done, sir. Hari, what are you telling me? The team is also there. Rankplus, JEE English. And a very nice name, Potty Singh. Good. I'm getting a smell. So I think it's done. Now let's move to the next question. So here it is, and I'm telling you that this is a standard questions which I'm teaching in my classes, and this question is from the Cengage book. And can you imagine that the same question comes to JEE Main 2024 in the January session? The same question from my class. And if you are getting the same question in your class, if you are getting the same questions from your class notes, your confidence rises a lot. And this is what happened. Because I already tell you that no matter how much I will motivate you, you won't get motivation. Until unless you started getting the answers correctly when you are solving the random questions, and when you are matching it with the solution, you are getting the same answer. Nothing can give you more confidence, right? This is the real way of getting a confidence. And this is the real way to getting a sustained confidence. So let's solve this question. My approach will be same. I told you that what is the approach here. There are very few approaches which I'll be teaching you in physics. And I already told you that I am a kind of a teacher who will be teaching you physics through the approaches which you have to use. And once you are acquainted with me and attending my classes regularly, right? Once you are attending my classes regularly, just I have to name it that this approach you have to use, and you'll start the question. So the approach here is that you do not have to see the picture. Do not see the picture, see the pixels here. That means divide a question into multiple parts. What does it mean? It means that you have to divide the variables in multiple parts. Right? If I have a vector here, force, this is the theta. I can consider this as f cos theta. I can consider this as f sin theta. This is a picture pixel concept. You know that this is the resolution, but for me, this is the picture pixel concept. And similarly, in the previous questions, what we have done is I told you that take a small element dm. That is the, what does it mean? It means that you have taken a very small part of the question. Assume that you are watching a dancer and you are able to see each step the dancer is performing. And you can immediately after watching, you can repeat that dance on your own. Imagine through this skill, I can tell you definitely that you will be able to learn any of the skill. Let's move. Let's solve this question. This question, what they are asking, I'm telling you this is from my notes. This is from my notes, and similar type of question comes in JEE Main 2024. This question is from my notes, regular notes. You can see my previous notes from 2016, I think, that I'm taking this question. This question is from this Engage book, and similar question, similar. You can say that the same question comes in the JEE Main 20. Okay, let's. What is you're asking, sir? Minor mistakes on converting the physical quantities? No matter. There will be some mistakes, but you have to do all mistakes before your exams. This is November, and today is, what is the date today? 12th of November. Okay. So let's start the question. In the question, it is saying that a thin rod with mass m is bent in a semicircle of radius r. And tell me the states from where are you from? Where are you from? Tell me the state's name. Nishi. I'm considering this as O, mass m. Okay, a thin rod with mass m is bent in a semicircle. Like this is a road, straight road, and you know that who bent this road? Me. You know that who bent this road? Me. I uses my muscle power. You can see my muscle power. I use this and bend this. Similarly, you can say that there is a rod there, thin rod, and if you bend this rod, it will bend into a semicircle. So this is what happened here. TS. Give me the full form. TS. Telangana. Nishi Hari. Mr. Gamer Beast. Tell me the state. Where are you from? Let's move. So there is mass m, and we have bent this in a semicircular format. We are considering a radius r. Consider a small mass dm. Here, a thin rod with mass m. I'm keeping a small particle here with a mass m, and you know that what will happen? This mass will be attracted df here. This is theta. I want you to write it. df will be E m dm divided by r square, right? But as I told you that you have to follow my approach, and my approach is very simple. You have to break the question into multiple parts, the picture and the pixel concept. And the picture and pixel concept states that here you have to take one section here, that will be df cos theta, and here you have to take df sin theta. Okay, df cos theta and df sin theta you have to take. And like similarly, you have to go from 0 degree to the 90 degree to the 180 degree, right? And the moment you take a element, the moment you started to take an element this side, what will happen? There will be a force here as well, but that force, if I'm taking at the same angle theta here, what will happen? The force will be there, df, and if you divide this df here, that will be df cos theta, and here it will be df sin theta. Are you getting? Is the diagram clear to you? What I'm telling you, that if you are dividing this df, because I'm taking a very small mass here, and you know that the gravitational force are attracting forces, so this m will get attracted towards this small m. this m, this small m is getting attracted towards this dm. This m will get attracted towards this dm, right? There is a distance between them. What I am telling you, that I already told you, that you have to break this question into multiple parts, and when I'm breaking this question into multiple parts, I can take the components of this df, and if I'm taking the components of df, that here it will be df cos theta, and here it will be df sin theta, isn't it? But I know that the df cos theta will get cancelled out with the other part, because half of the part, for half of the part I'll be getting the value of df cos theta, but other half will cancel out this df cos theta. Are you getting my point? Because the directions are different. Directions are different. There will be some points in the opposite direction where if I take that part, the df cos theta will be cancelled. So what does it mean? It means that if I need to calculate the net force at O, F net at O, the center of the curvature, that will be equals to df sin theta. Because ultimately these are the forces which are getting add up. You have to add up these forces. Is it clear, my dear? Please tell me in the comment. Even though, tell me in the comment. Is it clear, my dear? Tell me, is it clear, my dear? At why I'm taking F net at O as the integration of df sin theta. Why I'm taking this? Vellore at Tamil Nadu, Telangana. Okay. I know little bit Telugu. Meeru ella annaru. Nishi? Tamil also. I was in Chennai last April. I visited there, stay there for around 2-3 days. Then I went to Tirupati Balaji. Right? Let's start. I want to like Telugu I know little bit. Tamil I can understand if somebody is talking with me. So F net at O df sin theta. Okay, df sin theta, is it clear to you? Now df, we know that df is here. Here also we have to find out dm, because dm is what we have to replace. You can write it as gmdm emdm r square sin theta. I have to replace the dm here, and there is one method which I'll be using. The one method is I'm considering the length, I'm considering the mass. Unitary method is the unitary method I'm following. The length is pi r. You know that the semicircle, circumference, if I'm taking, the value will be pi r. So pi r, the mass is m. For pi r, the mass is m. For a length of 1 unit, I am having a mass of m divided by pi r. And if I'm telling you that if I'm taking a small length, the small length is x dx. If I'm taking a small length dx, the mass will be small dm, and that's value is m pi r dx. But there in integration we have sin theta, so I cannot take the I cannot be able to do the integration if I'll be having an element of dx. So I have to change that element also. You know that theta is equals to L by R. I'm considering this dl as dx. So you can write it using this formula only. I'm writing theta as d theta, dl as dx, and r as r. So your dx can be replaced by r d theta. Okay. So if you replace this with this, your dm will become, you know, that in this country, India, there are only 3 peoples who can be considered as VIP. In state, the VIP person is CM. In district, it's DM. In country, it's PM. PM, CM, DM. They are the very, very special person. Next, here I can write it as DM. DM. DM is equals to M pi R. For dx, you can write it as R d theta. R and R will be cancelled out. So dm is equals to M by pi d theta. So this is the dm here. Okay. dm is clear. That how we are going to find out. Now what you have to do is just replace. There are some terms which are constant, and we do not do integration or differentiation of the constant terms because they are free to move anywhere. So gm divided by r square as constant. Dm, if I'll replace, m will come here, pi will come here, and only thing which will be left here is sine theta. You have to integrate it from 0 to pi. Sine theta dot d theta is there. And if you integrate this thing, you will be getting EMM. And you know my ninja technique, sine theta. Have you watched a cartoon named as Shinchan? How many of you have watched that cartoon, Shinchan? There are few students who always tell me, sir, we forgot to remember that the integration of sine theta is negative or positive. I tell them, consider a trigonometric ratio. This is perpendicular, this is base, and this is hypotenuse, this is theta, and sine theta equals to P by H. Sine theta is like my Shinchan, and Shinchan is a mad person. Sine theta is like a Shinchan. Shinchan is a mad person, and if you integrate this Shinchan sine theta dot d theta, you are doing like, do not keep mad person in your life. But when you are integrating, what you are doing is you are adding mad person in your life, and when you are adding mad person in your life will become negative. But when you are adding cute person in your life, cos means cute, that will be positive. It's very easy. Similarly, here what I am telling you, you are integrating, you are integrating a sign. So what will you be getting? Minus sign I am putting here, and you will be getting cos theta pi and 0. Okay, and my ninja technique also here for the cos theta. If I'll draw a graph for the cos theta, I know that you are very good at maths, but still, I'm doing for people who do not know. This is the +1. I'm drawing it for the cos theta. This is the -1. So from +1 to -1, it's moving, fluctuating, I can say. So this is 90 degree. 90 degree, you can write it as pi by 2. This is pi. So at pi, cos pi is equals to -1. Okay. This is 3 pi by 2. And this is 2 pi. So this is the graph for cos theta, and cos pi is equals to -1. Is it clear, my dear? So here, if I'll replace this value, I'll be getting minus of gm divided by pi r cos pi minus of cos 0. Cos pi minus of cos 0. And what is the cos pi here? Cos pi is -1, and cos 0 is what? Cos 0 is also 1. Cos 0, here it is 0. So cos 0 is 1, and cos pi is -1. So if you will write here -1 minus of 1, you will be getting minus of 2. And final answer is there. F net at O is equals to 2gm m divided by pi r. This is the final answer what you are getting for a semicircular rod. 2 divided by pi r. F net at O. This is what we were looking for. This question is very easy. B part. B part is very easy. I want everyone to give me the answer in the chat section. Amma ee Telugu bollu. Nenu bagnanu sir. Veeru ellanaru. I'm good. Have you joined our Telegram group? Is it clear, my dear? Have you joined our Telegram group? If you haven't, please join our Telegram group, because the notes, everything whichever I'm writing here, you'll be getting in our Telegram group. And for this part, what would be the force on the particle if the rod were a complete circle? So for a complete circle, we know that for every particle, right? If there is a complete circle, for every particle element you will be considering, there will be its opposite. At the opposite side, there will be particle which will be cancelling out. So for this, I can say that the force will be 0. Force will be 0. Hari, Nishi, Tharun. Done, Mr. Gamer Beast. Is it done? Beckmer. So you have started JEE preparation very early. I think this is done. Let's move. Okay. Another approach which I have to tell you. First approach which I told you, picture and pixel approach. And in that picture and pixel approach, there might be some time when you have to calculate the forces at few points. So here, my approach, what I'll be using is RIN. RIN soap. I'll use this RIN soap and I'll solve the question. The first one is you have to reach on the spot. You have to reach on the spot wherever you have to find out the gravitational field, electrical field. There is a chapter electrical field as well, magnetic field as well. So this approach is applicable for 3 chapters. Gravitation, you can name it electrostatic, and magnetic. 3 chapters, same approach. You have to reach on the spot where you have to calculate the potential, force, etc. Second step is I. This approach is for superposition. People call it superposition. I call it a RIN. People call it a superposition. I call it a RIN, because nobody will be asking you that what is superposition. You'll be getting a question and you have to solve it, right? Anyway, ultimately you have to go after solving the question. So I'm telling you, first step is reach on the spot. Second step is calculate individual data. And if I'm telling you that you have to calculate the individual data, it might be that the data will be in the vector form or in a scalar form. If the data is in a vector form, you have to calculate the magnitude as well as direction. You have to calculate the magnitude as well as direction. But what if it's in a scalar format? You have to calculate only the magnitude. You have to calculate only the magnitude. The next step is RIN. N. Next is net effect. Next is net effect. You have to calculate the net effect. Next is the net effect. You have to calculate the net effect. Okay, Fatmer. Salute for your dedication that you have started your preparation from class 9. And I have seen the persons, students who have started from class 6 and becoming the topper. Let's hope that you top the exam. Maya Marathe, hi. Right now, how I am going to use the same approach in this question. The question states that there are three particles A, B, and C. You have to follow one pattern. Just read the question and draw it, a rough diagram. Because you know that we are a civilized person. We become civilized after going through a various history or evolution. You are a science kids, so you must know that we have been evolved. Earlier we were living in the village. Earlier we were living in the villages, and even before the villages, if I'll go, we were living in forest. And in forest, what happens if you see a wild animal? Your brain sucks. It won't be able to think properly because ultimately you have to survive, right? So this happens to us even now. Whenever we are seeing any question, our brain strucks and we won't be able to move forward. So what is the best approach if you get stuck? Whenever you see a difficult question, the easiest way is to move your hand. Momentum creates momentum. I always say momentum creates momentum. Here it's A, B point, and the C point. And at every point, you have a small mass m, and a small mass m. This AB is equals to DC, and the distance between them is D. This is what written in the first sentence. Three particles ABC, each of mass m, are placed in a line with AB equals to BC is equals to D. Find the gravitational force on the fourth particle. These are the three particles, and there is another particle, fourth particle, where it is at point P of same mass placed at a distance D from the particle B. So this is the particle B on the perpendicular bisector of the line AC. So you can draw a perpendicular line to this. I'm drawing a dark line here because this is as per the question. We are not extending it according to us because that is a part of the question. And here we are having a point P, and this is the point P. We have to calculate the force here. And you know that what is the approach I told you? What is the approach here? Because I always tell you that you might forgot what I teach you, but the approaches which I am teaching you, these approaches will remain same. These approaches will come one after the another in every chapters. You will be studying with me. That's why I'm telling you that these are the patterns which you have to follow. And once you attended my all classes, you will be seeing that the patterns is repeating again and again. And you won't be forgetting any questions. You have a better memory, right? This becomes unconsciously that your memory is improving, your score is improving, and you are seeing a changes and the transformation in you. There are few strategies which even if I don't tell you, I am using it while taking the class, right? Charges and field also having same formulas. Yes, Nishi, yes. This is what I am telling you, that if you follow my pattern, you will be seeing a pattern in different chapters. You will be like same type of question is coming again and again. You won't be facing any issues. This is how we have to study when we are preparing. The students, there are some students, I have seen some students who are complaining that sir, syllabus is very tough. Sir, syllabus is very vast. I'm not able to complete my syllabus. I'm telling that syllabus is not vast. Syllabus is very few. Very few topics are there. If you read it according to the pattern, you will see that similar type of questions are coming again. So approach is RIN. Our approach is RIN. So what is our approach? The first approach is you have to reach. Reach where? Where we have to calculate. You have to reach. Just imagine yourself. Imagine you're a small buddy and you are sitting here at this point. Go and sit at this point. The first step is reach. You have to reach at point P because this is the position where we have to find out the force, the net force. And when you are standing there, you have to see that how many masses are there that are attracting this mass. Gravitational force is an attractive force, and each and every particle in this world is attracting you. You have to attract that. So if you reach there, this particle being attracted by three particles, because if you stand here, you will see that this particle is calling him and he's telling that come towards me, brother, come towards me. So this is the force F1. This particle is telling come to me, brother, come here. This force is F2. And this particle is also telling, come here, particle, come here, buddy. I'm also welcoming you. So these are the three forces. That means once you reach there, you have to calculate individual forces. Individual data. You have to calculate. And once you calculate the individual forces, just like here, I'm telling you that there are three forces. And can you say that F1 is equals to F3? Can you say that F1 is equals to F3 because the distance will remain same, because this is D, and the distance between this is root 2 times of D. And this is D, the distance between them is root 2 times of D. Right? F1 is equals to F3, and I can say that this is equals to Gm square, Gm1, M2. So both of them are M and M. So this is Gm square divided by R square. R square is root 2 times of D. Root 2 times of D to the whole square. I'll be getting 2D square. So this is what I'm getting here. Are you okay? This is what I'm getting here. And for this F2, I'm telling you, for this F2, what is there? This is simple formula. Gm square, the distance between them is D square. Just simple, right? But you know that this force is going in this direction, this force is going in this direction, this force is going in this direction. And what it is? Force is a vector quantity. You have to consider the direction. And how can I do this? I can do this by using the approach. What I already told you, N is the net effect. Net effect for scalar, you have to do the scalar addition. For vector, you have to do vector addition. And there is another approach which I told you. The another approach was you do not see the picture, always see the pixels, always divide the questions into multiple parts. So I'm telling you that if this is F1 and this D, this is 90 degree, this angle is 45 degree. How many of you agree that these angles are 45 degree? How many of you agrees? This is 90 degree, this is 45 degree, and this is also 45 degree. How many of you agrees? Yes, do let me know that how many of you agrees. Agree? This is 45 degree, and I'm telling you that I'm taking a component of this F1 force in this direction. I'm taking the component of F1 force in this direction of F2. So I can tell you that F net will be equals to 2 times. Why I'm taking 2 times? You can write it as F1 cos theta. F1 cos 45 degree I'm writing. F1 cos 45 degree plus F2 plus F3 cos 45 degree. And we know that, this 45 degree, f1 45 degree and f3 45 degree are same. And when these are same, let me move here. And I'm telling you, when these are same, you can easily write this as, 2 f1 cos 45 degree plus f2, right? So write it here. It is already written. f1 2 m, that will be 2 and 2 will be cut. Gm square divided by root 2 d square plus f2 gm square divided by d square. So in a simple format, you can write it as gm square divided by d square 1 by root 2 plus 1. This is our answer. Done? Factmer? Great. Sir, could you please ban Marathi? What he is doing? Sir, won't be root 2d whole square? That's what we are doing. When you are r square is root 2 times of d square, so it will come out to be 2d square, right? If you are doing a square of root 2 times of d, it will become what? It will become 2d square. This is what I'm doing here. Factmer. Maya Marathe, beta. Noru musko. Shall we move? Shall we move forward? Let's. Now, this is also a very important topic. This is the acceleration due to gravity. And if you solve previous year questions, you will be seeing that more number of questions are coming from this topic as compared to the gravitational force, as compared to the Kepler's force, right? So let's first understand that what does this topic gives. Let's assume that there is a earth having a radius r, center O, mass m. Here also I'm considering a small mass m here. Okay. And as you know that if this small m is here on the surface of the earth, there will be a gravitational force acting on it. The gravitational force will be gmm divided by r square. I am writing this as equation number 1. Similarly, as per Newton's second law, from Newton's second law, you can write F is equals to mass into acceleration. And you know that scientists are giving fancy words to the various things. 2 topics need 2 hours time, sir. Let's move on. Yeah, hurry. I'll be increasing my speed from this topic. First, I have to understand that which type of students are coming to my class, right? So that is what requires change in G. Right. So if I'll equate these equation from 1 and 2, from 1 and 2, we get G mm divided by r square is equals to m. You can easily cut this m and m. And finally, you are getting small g as gm divided by r square. This is a very, very important value for you. And you know that when you started studying physics, there is a confusion that whether you have to take G as 9.8 or 10 when you are solving the numericals. So here I'm telling you that for the Earth, for Earth, G is equals to 9.8 meter per second square. And also, I know that density, if there are some condition about density is given to you have to change this formula into another formula. We know that density is equals to mass divided by volume. And if you have to calculate mass, that will be density into volume. And mass will be equals to density, and the volume is 4 divided by 3 pi r cube. So this is the mass. Replace this mass here. You'll be getting G dash will be given by 4 divided by 3 pi r g. Okay. This is another formula. I'm highlighting this formula for you. You can get this PDF in our Telegram group. You will get this PDF in our Telegram group. So even if you have missed anything, what I'm writing on the board, you can get it in our Telegram group. Okay, for notes, download, join our Telegram. I'll also be sharing a list of questions which you can do. After studying this topic. But it's your first class, so it's okay, but better to speed up. Yeah, in the next class, I'll be knowing that Nishi will be there, Hari will be there, and they are very good at solving the questions. So in the next class, I'll be very fast. Now, there is a variation of G. And if we are talking about variation of G, this could be due to height. This could be due to height. That if you increase the height, the acceleration due to gravity gets changed. It could be due to the depth. If you go deep down a planet, the acceleration due to gravity will get changed. And even due to rotation, the acceleration due to gravity gets changed. Let's take here. I'm taking a radius as r. The mass, this is point O. The mass as m. Here the mass is small m. At the surface, I'm having the acceleration due to gravity as gm divided by r square. But when I reached particular height, the acceleration due to gravity will be g dash. You can easily replace this with gm divided by r plus h to the whole square, right? Your acceleration due to gravity will be given by r plus h to the power of 2. Now, I have to make this formula simple for you. If I'll take r square as common, that will become h by r to the power whole square. You can write this as g 1 plus h to the power of r the power of minus 2. And if h is very, very less than sr, I can say that if is h is 5% of r, till 5% of r, you can consider g dash equals to g 1 minus 2 h by r. Okay, and this is the formula which you could use. This is the formula which you could use only when h is 5% of r. And this is the general formula which you will be using. This formula is very important because, as I told you, that this acceleration due to gravity is very important topic, and it's one of my favorite topic and one of the favorite topic for the examiner, because examiner one after the another is giving question from this topic only. As I already told you, that when you are solving a question, the question is not important for you. What is important for you is to get that pattern, that from which topic they are asking. The second thing is to get that pattern of question, that which type of questions they are asking. That is more important, right? Now when we are talking about a depth, so this is the depth here. I'm considering this as O. If you move downward, depth D, you have to find out the acceleration due to gravity at this point. When we were at the surface, the acceleration due to gravity is gm divided by r square. But when we are going deep inside the earth, the acceleration due to gravity gets changed. So this is what we have to find out in the question. So here g dash will become g. Here mass will also get changed. Please remember this thing. Whenever you are going inside the earth, this is kind of a shell in which you are going, a solid shell. So your mass is also getting changed, which you will be using here. So gm dash divided by r minus this distance. This distance will be r minus of d. This is r minus of d whole square. Okay, so I'm considering this as equation number 1. See my talent of finding the mass here. So I'm considering a volume. I'm considering a volume here and a mass. See my unitary method. See my approach using the unitary method. Here, if the volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube, the complete radius I'm taking. So the mass is m. If I'm taking only the one unit, the mass is 3 by 4 pi r cube m, right? And if I'll consider a very small volume of 4 by 3 pi r minus d to the whole cube. So you will be getting m dash equals to 4 by 3 pi. This will be like not will be there. M r minus d whole cube r cube. So this is the value of m dash which we are getting. M dash is very important. M dash is very important because the moment you replaces the m dash, you will be getting the formula for which I am doing this thing. Formula is very easy for the depth part. Please allow me to shorten it. It's not allowing. We'll be deleting this thing. Okay. So now, using the equation number 1, I can write this as G dash is equals to G. M dash, I'm replacing it for M. R minus of D whole cube divided by R minus of D whole square and multiply by R cube. Be with me, be with me. And this will be cut here. I'll be getting Gm divided by R square. And here I'm getting R minus of D divided by R. Right? And I can write this as small g 1 minus D by R. So you can write it as that G dash is equals to G 1 minus D by R. This is a important formula here for depth. We are calculating depth from the top surface. This is for the depth. And for the rotational part, first I'll see your comments. Is this thing clear to you? Because this is something tricky. Sir, could you bring session on electricity and optics before 28th of November? I have taken this gravitational chapter because the PPTs were ready. And in the next session, I'll be covering basically either the units and measurement or kinematics. Are you okay with the kinematics? Shall I take the kinematics lecture for you? Because in kinematics, I have so much tricks for you guys. And I can bet you that if you attend my lecture in kinematics, you won't face any issue when you are solving the previous year questions and when you are solving the HC Verma. So I'll be completing the whole HC Verma in our class. Is it clear, my dear? Favorite of NTA also. Yes, kinematics is favorite of NTA. Now for rotation part, see, the rotation is not in your syllabus. If you see the syllabus is mentioning that you have to find out the variation of G due to the height and due to the depth. But for the, I can say for the advanced portion, for the JEE advanced, you must know that for the rotational part, G dash is E minus omega square R omega square cos lambda square. This is what you are having. What it is? Let's say this is an equator. And from the center of the earth, I'm taking a lambda angle. So if at this point you are rotating at an omega speed, if at this point you are rotating at an omega speed, the lambda is like at this point the angle is lambda. But at equator, if I'll talk about at equator, right? If I'll talk about at equator lambda is 0 degree and cos lambda is 1. So you can write G dash is equals to G minus R omega square at equator. But if you are at the pole, then lambda is 90 degree. If you are at the pole, lambda is 90 degree. So when the lambda is 90 degree, cos 90 is equals to 0. G dash is equals to G. So due to the rotation, there is no effect at the pole, but at equator, there is effect, significant effect, I can say. Next session will be, the complete schedule is in our community, and I suggest you to join our Telegram channel, because like yesterday, Nabamita ma'am took the class on coordination, I think. Hai na? So Nabamita ma'am took the class, that means the chemistry is done. today I took the class. Maybe tomorrow Bhumi maths teacher is coming. So I think she hasn't come for the lecture, but it could happen that tomorrow you will be seeing that who will be going to be the maths teacher, and day after tomorrow you will be getting chemistry, I think organic chemistry. Durgesh ma'am will be taking that lecture, and after that again I am coming. Okay, so I think this is done. Let's solve this question. This question is from JEE Main PYQ. This question is from JEE Main. This question is JEE Main PYQ. Now tell me the answer. Solve this question. Immediately solve this question. A 90 kg body placed at 2 hour distance, a 90 kg body is placed at 2 hour distance from the sun, from the surface of the earth. Sun, it's not the sun, it's the surface of the earth. Experiences a gravitational pull of how much? First, you need to know that which type of formula is using. I told you already that there is few steps which you have to use again and again, and the step is very easy. Just when you are reading the question, tag this in your mind that this question is from this topic, and in this topic from this formula, and this is sufficient for your JEE Main. And this is the basic beginning of solving the advanced question, the Olympiad level question. This is how teachers think, this is how the toppers think. First, they identify that from which chapter, from which topic this question is coming. And here, what you are seeing, the distance 2r from where they are taking the distance from the surface. So this is r, and if I am taking a distance here, that is 2r, and here the 90 kg body, right? So if you have to calculate a weight here, because a gravitational pull is what? Weight. And I know that weight is equals to 90 into g dash. And what is g dash here? 90. I can write it as gm divided by r plus 2r, the power of, right? Because if I have to consider the height, height is considered from the center. So height, this is the distance which I have to take. So this distance is 3r. That's why I'm taking the 3r distance there. So weight is equals to 90 multiplied by gm 3r 9r square. This 9 will cut this. Gm divided by r square is 10. Okay, so weight is equals to 10 multiplied by 10. Why? Because we already know that gm divided by r square is 10. So weight is equals to 100 Newton. And if you have done it correct, cheer it up. You have done it correct, cheer it up, because nobody will be going to do this for you. And in this journey of your JEE exam preparation, I always wanted my students to cheer them. Cheer very, very small things which you are getting. Whenever you get the correct answer, yell that yes, you did it correct. So this is the correct answer. Next, move towards the next question. In the next question, they are asking us a body weighs 63 Newton. A body weighs 63 Newton on the surface of the earth. What is the gravitational force on it due to the earth at a height equal to half the radius? At the height equals to half the radius. So that means h is equals to r by 2. And you know that g dash will be given by gm r plus h the power of whole square. You can write it as g r plus r by 2 the power of whole square. That will become gm 2r. I can write it as 3r 9r squared divided by 4. So g dash will be 4 by 9 of g. This is what I'm getting, right? So they are asking us that what is the force weight is equals to mg dash. I can write it as 4 by 9 mg, and mg is already given to you as 63. So 9 7 is 63, 7 4 is 28. So 28 will be the correct answer. Did you get this correct? 28 is the correct answer. Yes. If it is more than 5%. Nishi, Hari, Hari from Tamil Nadu, Vellore, Nishi from Telangana, Pakmar. Is it clear, my dear? Is it clear, my dear? Are you getting what I want to tell you? Let's move towards the next question. Now, here, assuming the Earth to be sphere of uniform mass density, assuming the Earth to be sphere of uniform mass density, a body weight on the surface of the Earth, how much it would weigh at r by 4 depth under the surface of Earth? I think value is missing here. Something is missing. Value is missing here. This question, value is missing. Solve next question. Ah, this value is clear. Let's solve this question. Assume the Earth to be sphere of uniform mass density. How much a body weight halfway down the center of the Earth if it weighs 250 Newton on the surface of the Earth? I'm telling you that the beautiful formula, the beauty of this formula when you are going down is that it follows a linear relation. And when it is following a linear relation, that g dash is equals to g 1 minus d by r, you can say that if d is equals to r by 2, g dash will be g by 2. So I can say that my weight will be half. 125 will be the weight. Hello Tanvi Asthana. Where are you from? From which state? Let's move to the next question. This question is from SC Verma. This is to show that there are some conditions which you can use directly. Right here, we are going only by 5%, only by 5 kilometer. So I can use the another formula here. Let's solve this question. In this question, we have to calculate the value of acceleration due to gravity at a point 5 kilometer above the surface of the Earth and below the surface of the Earth. So basically, this question gives you a brief idea that what will happen if you are going a same height, if you are going same height above the surface and if you are going same height below the surface, what will happen? Where will be more fall in the acceleration due to gravity and where you will be getting more acceleration due to gravity. So this question will teach you many things. So for part A, for height above, I'll be considering g dash will be equals to g 1 minus 2 h by r, because I'm seeing here that this 5 kilometer is less than 5%, is less than 5% as that of the value of radius of the Earth. So this g dash will be equals to g 1 minus 2 into 5 kilometer 6400, that is 9.8. Okay, and I'll be using the calculator here, my smartwatch for the smart people like you. 1 divided by 640, and if I'll multiply this 9.8, I'll be getting 9.78 meter per second square. This is what I will get. And here in the next B part, your G dash will be equals to G1 minus D by R. Okay, G1 minus D by R. So G dash will be equals to 9.8, 1 minus 5 by 6400. Again, let's solve it using the calculator. That will be divided by 6. 9.79. It will come out to be 9.79. I remember the answer, but still I'm using the calculator just to show you that I didn't calculate it, right? Because sometimes it happens that when I write the answers, because I'm solving it again and again, and I remember that this question is from SC Verma, and I remember the answer also. So if I write the answer, student says that, sir, how did you calculate it? So I tell them that I remember it. They say, sir, do I need to remember? I said, no, you didn't. That's why I show you that I'm using the calculator. It's in my memory as well. Okay. You didn't get the same question with the same data, but you should know that how to solve it, right? It may take some time in your exam, but if you will solve it, you will be getting the correct answer, right? You can use the approximation method as well, because there are situations where we can use that, right? Do you want some break before we start potential energy? Tanvi Asthana from Ayodhya. Wow. I'm big fan of the students who are coming from the Uttar Pradesh, because one of my friend is there. And wait a minute. And there are so many students who are cracking the JEE exams from the Uttar Pradesh, Telangana. Ah, so Nishi, how many breaks did you get in yesterday's class? Nabamita ma'am, how many breaks did she give you? You tell me where are Pactmer, you tell me where are you from? I'll tell you later. It's not important. Know that from where. No. Do you want break? Tell me. Do you want break? Hari, Nishi. Okay. Let's see. Gravitational potential. Or what is potential? First of all, let's understand that what is potential energy. First of all, understand that what is potential energy, because this is the first time when I'm teaching you, and I already told you that I have some few approaches which I want my students to learn the things, because it will become easy for me and also for my students to get connected with me. So potential energy is the energy which is only defined for the conservative forces. The first thing which you need to know is this is a kind of an energy which is only defined for conservative forces, which is only defined for the conservative forces. Okay. Second, there is always a sense of restoration. There is always a sense of restoration. Objects have the tendency to come to its natural position. Always a sense of restoration is there. Object wants to in wants to be in lower potential energy. Okay, and if I'm talking about a conservative forces, if I'm talking about the conservative forces could be the gravitational force, which we will study here, the electrostatic force, which we will study later on, the magnetic force, similarly, which we will study later on, the elastic spring. These are the things which we will be studying in our JEE course, right? So in any kind of potential energy, I'm telling you that there will be a sense of restoration. Like I have raised this height of a ball. This ball have a tendency to go back. I have raised the height of the ball. The ball has a tendency to go back, right? And the third thing, if you do work against conservative force, potential energy increases. And if you do work with the conservative force, the potential energy decreases. It's the law of the nature. If you listen to your heart, if you listen to your heart, your potential energy decreases. If you listen to your mind, your potential energy increases. Such a beautiful line. Factmer. Sure, we will play. If you get selected and if you come to the IIT Delhi, we will play there. Okay. Lavanya Nayak. So when the class will end, I'll take half an hour more or 45 minutes max. I'll be taking. I'll be giving you a 2 minutes break. Go and have a glass of water. I'm giving you a 2 minute break here. Go and have a timer here. Go and have a glass of water. It's a break time. Put it down. Ray optics we will do later. Sir, I will come to. What are you saying, sir? I'll come to IIT Bombay for a match. We can play there. Oh, sure. I can come to Mumbai at any time. I have been there in 2014, 15. Let's finish it off in style. I'm new to the class. Any suggestions? Dipati Rajkiran, where are you from? Dipati Rajkiran. The suggestion is to study. Shall we move? Yes. Let's start. And for the girls, if you got selected, I'm very good badminton player as well. Because there are girls who say that, sir, always you plan for the cricket matches, you do not plan for the badminton or anything else. I'm a multi-talented person. I can do anything, whichever you want. So this is a kind of a potential energy, and if I'm talking about a gravitational potential energy, so one more thing, there is a prerequisite which I want to share with you. If I'm talking about a conservative, if I'm talking, work energy theorem, work energy theorem. So what does work energy theorem said? Work energy theorem said that work done is equals to change in kinetic energy, right? And you know that if for conservative forces, total energy is zero. Total energy is delta Ke plus delta Pe is equals to zero. You can write it as delta Ke is equals to minus of delta Pe. And if you replace this with this, we'll be getting work done is equals to minus of delta Pe. I hope you know this formula. These are the prerequisite which I have to tell you before starting the potential energy. And you know that work, one more thing, there is a work, there is energy. The unit of work is joules. The unit of energy is also joules. They are having both the unit, they are having the same unit. And here, there must be some bridge, right? There must be some bridge. The bridge is to connect them. The bridge is to connect them. And that bridge is the work energy theorem. Work energy theorem basically connects the work with the energy. And what I'm telling you here, 2 minutes or like 2 seconds, complete it fast. Wow. It means you want to study. So I'm telling you, work is here, energy is there, and there is a bridge between the work and energy because the units are the same. There must be some connections between the work and energy. There may be some situations where you are easily able to find out the work, but there are some situations in which you feel some complications when you are finding the work. The moment you started feeling complicated that you are not able to find out the work using the work formulas, start thinking in terms of energy. And the moment you started to think in terms of energy, you see that there is a pattern which if you use, you'll be easily, that question will be easy to solve. Are you getting my point? And there could be some questions in form of energy that if you have to calculate the energy and you feel that you are not able to get the energy using the formulas which you know, just start thinking in terms of the work and you will be able to get the potential energy. Similarly, this technique is what I am going to use for the gravitational potential energy. This technique I'm going to use for the gravitational potential energy. I'm telling you that consider this as mass m1, and we have fixed this mass. We have fixed this mass to some of the places by indefinite forces you do not know about. And at a distance r, I have another mass m2. Now you know that the gravitational force is acting in this direction. I'm not considering the gravitational force. I'm considering that what if I'll be applying the external force, and using the external force, I'll take this to the infinity. What if I'll be using an external force and I'll take this mass m2 to the infinity? Because I know when there are two masses, they will be attracting towards each other, right? When there are two masses, they will be attracting towards each other. But I'm saying that I'm keeping one object fixed and I'm taking the another object, I'm taking this object far away, and I'm taking it very slowly so that there is no acceleration. I'm taking it so slowly that there is no acceleration. And you could say that F external is exactly equals to the Fg. Okay. And if I have to find out work done, if I have to find out the work done to move a particle from r to infinity, what you will be getting? You will be getting F dot dr, right? From r to infinity. This force is G m1 m2 divided by r square dr, and it's moving from r to infinity, right? So write it down, guys. That will give you minus of G m1 m2 divided by r. And you can write it as that work done from r to infinity is equals to G m1 m2 divided by r. This is the work done. And if you have to find out the potential, so potential energy is equals to minus of work done. You can write it as G m1 m2 divided by r. Okay, is it clear? So what I am telling you, if I have to find out the potential energy, if I have to find out the potential energy, gravitational potential energy, basically, if there are two masses, one mass is m1, the another mass is m2, they are separated by distance r, the potential energy is equals to minus of G m1 m2 divided by r, right? So this is for 2-point masses. And if there is 3-point masses, m1, m2, m3, separated by distance r12, separated by distance r23, separated by distance r13. Okay, if we are having 3-point masses, there is a pattern which if you follow those patterns, you can easily able to remember the question, and as well as you will be able to solve the question immediately, I'm telling you. So what is the method? The method is very simple. The simple method is U is equals to minus of G You can write it as m1 m2 divided by r12 plus m2 m3 divided by r23 plus m3 m1 divided by r13. This is the formula which we are getting. 1 multiplied by 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1. Done. Is it clear, my dear? Nishi, Hari, is it clear? Do let me know in the chat. Lit the chat with the fire emojis, with the emojis which you like the most. Tell me which emoji is representing you. Like, I can give you the balloons. Smile, smile. The balloons can come. Is it coming? So how does gravitational potential energy change if an object like an asteroid has an irregular mass distribution? Can we still? No, we cannot use that thing. For that, we have to calculate using the integration. Next for the, that's why I'm telling you these are the point masses. Next for the 4-point masses. This is M1, M2, M3, M4. Here the distance is separated by R12, R23, R34, R14. Okay, I'm telling you U will be equals to minus of G. Now, you have to multiply 1 with 2, 2 with 3, 3 with 4, 4 with 1, and then there is 1 multiplied by 3 and 2 multiplied by 4. It's very, very easy. I'm telling you guys, it's very, very easy. This distance is R24 and this distance is R13. So do it with me. M1 multiplied by M2 and the distance between them R12, M2. See, there will be 6 items. M2, M3, R23, M3, M4, R34, M4, M1, R14, and M1, M3, R13, M2, M4, R24. Okay. So similarly, if anyone asks you about this is the potential energy pattern. This, as I already told you that I'll teach you in the pattern format, and this is the pattern of the potential energy which you might get in your exam. And if somebody is asking you about the work, you know that the work is equals to minus of delta P. So whatever questions you will be getting, this same pattern will be applicable for the work as well. Fakmer, the chat has been lit up, sir. Okay. So it's kind of a Diwali. Great. Thank you so much for this gesture. Okay, let's move. Let's move. Now, there are some situation if you have where you have to calculate the potential energy due to a ring. Because I have seen the questions due to potential energy due to a ring. Consider that there is a ring here, and this question has been asked in the JEE Advanced as well. This question has been asked in the JEE Advanced as well. So we are considering the mass Sm, the radius is r, and at a distance x, and at a distance x, here at this point you have to find out the potential. As you know that the potential is a scalar quantity, best thing about the potential energy is that the potential is a scalar quantity. Okay, if I'll keep a mass m here, you have to find out, or do one thing, let's find out, do not find out the potential energy because it will take your lot of energy. Let's find out the potential here, potential due to a ring. Okay, and what is potential? Potential is nothing, we will represent potential with v, and v is equals to minus of gmm minus gm by r. Minus gm by r is the potential. So here, if I have to find out the same approach which we have used earlier, I'll be considering a small mass dm, and due to this mass I'll be getting a small potential here, so that small potential will be equals to minus of gdm divided by r plus under root r square plus x square. And if I'll have to get a complete potential here, just I need to integrate it, and this is a scalar quantity, so it doesn't matter that from which particle I'm taking, I just need to integrate this dm, and if you integrate this dm, the value will be coming out to be m only, so I'm getting it as minus of gm divided by under root r square plus x square. So this is very important values for you. Clear, my dear? This is a very important value for you for the potential. Done? Okay. Let's move to the another part. You know that if somebody is asking you about the types of forces, there are two types of forces. The first one is the contact force, where the contact is very important if you have to transfer the momentum. The contact is very important. Just like in cricket, we have a cricket bat, the ball is coming. There must be contact between the ball and the bat if we have to transfer the momentum, right? But there are some situations in which the real contact is not required. Just like in the gravitational force, the two objects are there, it's not required that they will touch each other, then only the force will act. The force is acting even when you are far away. Even I am applying some force on you, and you are applying some force on me, even though we are on the same earth. So it's like there are some contact forces and there are non-contact forces. So how does non-contact force applies the force the body? These non-contact forces basically create a field around it, create a field, and in that field, if the particle or if an object comes, they will experience some forces. It's a kind of, one example you can take a person, his person is applying a perfume. You have seen various advertisements. This person is having its own aura, and the moment you enter the field of the person, you'll feel that this person is good, this person is bad, this person is smelling good or bad, and this person is doing the poo. So these kind of things we will be taking in the field. So if I'm talking about a gravitational field, if I'm talking about a gravitational field, you can write the gravitational field as E, and that E, the gravitational field, will be equals to the mass. I'll be taking very less, it tends to 0, F divided by M, and the formula will be coming out to be Gm divided by R square. This is for a point mass M. If I'm having a point mass M here, this is the source mass. I'm telling you, this is the source mass, the mass which is important for me. This is the source mass, and due to this mass, small, this source mass M at a distance of R, I'm taking one point here. This is the M, and at this point you are basically getting a, electric, no, not electrical, gravitational field you are getting. And in this gravitational field, if any of the mass will come, there will be some force. So the force formula is so simple that the mass multiply by force is so simple, the mass multiply by the gravitational field here. Is it clear, my dear? Is it clear? Pacmer, aura plus infinity, yes. Yes, I think that you must have see the aura, gravitational potential. If this is mass M at a distance R, you have to find out that what is the potential here. So the potential is minus of Gm divided by R. This is the formula which we have to remember. And the next thing is find the gravitational field, because this gravitational field is also been asked in your JEE Advanced. I'm telling you that there are few concepts which you can easily relate, because this chapter is very, very important if you want to learn the other two chapters, which is electrostatics. This chapter, I have taken this chapter. Why? Because this chapter, this chapter is very important as per the recent trend, because one question is coming from this chapter. But also, if you have studied this chapter, you will be able to solve questions from the electric charges and field and the electrostatic potential. And you will be seeing the same patterns of questions you will be getting there also. Okay, so the basically the hard work which we have to do will be reduced. And I am always been there to reduce your hard work. If you want notes of this chapter from my class notes, a detailed class notes which you can use for revision, if you do not have the class notes, you can use my notes. I'll be sharing that on the Telegram group. Okay, and I'll also be sharing this PDF with you just after the class. I'll be sharing. So if you haven't joined our Telegram group, please join the Telegram group. And the another thing is that I always tell my students that the easiest way of revision is, the first one is to cover the class notes. Because in the class notes, what teacher is doing is using all his or her experience to give you a complete concise notes in the class. And once you are done with the class notes, you have to do the previous year, you have to do the modules, you have to do the DPPs. If you do not have that one, ask me, I'll be sharing you. And once you completed the revision from your class notes, the another part is you can take a printout of your syllabus and just read down. Read the topics which you are doing. And once you are reading the topics, just like if I'll be reading the gravitational chapters topic here, it's the universal law of gravitation, acceleration due to gravity and its variation with altitude and depth, Kepler's law of planetary motion, gravitational potential energy, gravitational potential, escape velocity, motion of a satellite, orbital velocity, time period, energy. These are the things which we have to complete. So the moment you study the topics, you will realize that your teacher taught you all the topics, and you have to remember, you have to memorize, you have to visualize that these types of patterns of questions Manoj Sir told us to do. These types of questions, Manoj Sir, tell us to complete. So it's been better if you read your syllabus regularly, at least have a timetable to read the syllabus. Syllabus is very important, and it's not only for the physics, but I'm telling you, you can use it for chemistry as well as for maths. And believe me, I have online and offline experience. So this method works, really works, and this transforms the student's life. They got selected. So now you have to find out the gravitational field due to a ring you have to calculate a gravitational field due to a ring of mass m. At a x distance, I'm this point P, mass is m. At a point P, the mass is m here, and you have to find out the gravitational field at this point. How we can proceed? The easiest method is to, if you are seeing the picture and picture seems to be tough, the easiest way is to see in pixels, right? If you are seeing the picture, if you are seeing the question and question seems to be difficult, the next second, do not waste time, start seeing it in the pixel format. And if I'll tell you that what is the pixel here, take one small mass here. I'm considering a small mass dm, and due to this mass, there will be a field, small field dE. That field is equals to g dm divided by r square. That means I can write it as r square plus x square, right? And this is the theta. You can consider this as dE cos theta and this as dE sin theta. I'm again dividing it into the various components. And you see that if I have taken this point here, exactly opposite, if I'll take another mass of small portion of this, what I'll be getting, same theta I'll be getting, right? Because it is exactly opposite to this. So same angle of theta I'll be getting, the same dE I'll be getting, the same dE cos theta I'll be getting here, and the important thing is dE sin theta. These dE sin theta will cancel out each other. And you can realize that ultimately, if I need to find out the net gravitational field, it will be dE cos theta. The integration will be dE cos theta, and it's very easy to find out. There is nothing integration at all. You just need to do g dm r square plus x square, and you have to multiply cos theta, and cos theta is equals to base hypotenuse, so it's x r square plus x square, power is 1 by 2 here. And if you integrate, you have to only integrate this dm, and if you integrate this dm, you will get the m. So that will be gmx divided by r square plus x square power 3 by 2. This formula is very, very important. Note down this formula and tell me, is there any doubt with how we approach this? We are doing the same approach, similar patterns of questions, what we have done already in this chapter only. Right? They cancel out each other. Why I'm writing? Because I want some space. That if this is a ring and instead of ring, we have another thing. What if I'm getting a 2d theta nahi hoga? Will it be 2d theta? No, 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 no. Why? This will be the answer. Why you are thinking that that will be the? Sir, I complete JEE syllabus by 10th. Will I able to? JEE syllabus by 10th of what? 10th of which month? Wait a minute. I need to get the charger be connected. Wait. I need to connect the charger. Yes, it's done now. Let me know what are you saying. At center. Is it fine now? Vikram, Miru Elanaru. I know Telugu little bit. Like if you create any nonsense in the class, I can say Pichi Noru Musko. Right? So there are few sentences which I know from the Telugu language. Now, this is at a distance x, and at center you have to place at center. What is the field here? 0, because x is 0 here. X is 0 here. So now here, if this is a disk, the Pushpa movie is going to release on 5th of December, and you are getting a Pushpa sir here. Hai. Pushpa sir is here. So I won't let you go down in your JEE mains. So here I am taking an angle theta. This is for a disk. Like I told you that even after attending this lecture is from the crash course. If you started solving the previous year questions, you will be able to solve each and every question. And if you're not able to solve it, then just ping me up. I'm always ready to text you back, right? So you can ping me up anytime. And I'm telling you that this question for the disk has come in the JEE Advanced. And if you know just the formula, you will be able to solve it. So there are so many questions directly from my notes that are coming in the JEE Advanced also. Okay. So for this, you can write at this point, if I need to find out, that will be equals to 2gm x square 1 minus cos theta. Okay. Note it down. Note it down. Note it down. No, this x is not there. This is the r. This r is there. This is the formula. Okay. So how by Telegram? Ah, अरे विक्रम, clear है? Is it done? Okay, now let's move. So gravitational part is done. Now it's about the escape velocity. Just few topics are left. Now we are talking about the escape velocity. What is the escape velocity? Just consider a planet. Consider a planet. Consider radius r. I'm taking a small mass here. Just when you started to throw any object, you know that if you are throwing any object, it will goes in a projectile motion, right? It will goes in a projectile motion. If you increase the speed, it will again go, the range will increase. If you again increase the speed, the range will increase. If you again throw it, the range will increase. If you again throw, the range will increase. If you again throw, the range will increase. But there is a few, like anytime, whenever I am throwing the object, it is coming back again to the earth, right? Whenever I am throwing the object, it is coming again back to the earth. But what if I increases my speed to such a level that it won't come back and it completed a round here, so that it won't come back and it completes a one round here. So at this point, escape velocity is basically a minimum velocity. Escape velocity is basically a minimum velocity you provided to an object that it won't come back to the planet. So the minimum velocity which you provide to the object, which you provide to the object, such that it will not fall back, such that it will not fall back to the planet. And you know what? At this time, I can say that the kinetic energy, the whatever the kinetic energy I am having, the kinetic energy is getting changed to the potential energy. So for this condition, I am writing it as kinetic energy is changing into the potential energy. What is kinetic energy here? It is m escape for escape velocity. I am writing it as subscript here as e. Half mv square is equals to, you know, there are some students who always say, sir, why you are keeping these things to these things? I have only one approach. I always tell my students that keep one thing in your mind, that if you do not have any plan, search for the extreme end. See, this is my rule. Rule number one, that if you do not have any plan, search for the extreme ends. And what is the extreme ends? At the moment you started the object, there is kinetic energy, and I'm putting this kinetic energy as half mv square, and the whole kinetic energy is getting changed to the potential energy. So here the potential energy is gmm divided by r. You can cancel it m with m. You'll be getting ve is equals to under root gm 2gm divided by r. So this is the formula which we have to remember. And other than this formula, we also, I'll be changing this formula to another term. Just see, if I'll multiply this by r and r, this gm square will be equals to small g. This gm square will be equals to small g, and this is r. Okay. So these are the values, these are the formulas which you have to remember. And you know, for the Earth, what is the escape velocity? For Earth, what is the escape velocity? It is 11.2 kilometer per second. 11.2 kilometer per second. It is more than 40,000 kilometer per hour. If you will be considering the in the units which you know, which you are familiar with in the kilometer per hour, it is more than 40,000 kilometer per hour. Sir, I can't find your Telegram profile. Why are you searching for? Is it done? Shall we move? Right now, let's start with the satellites. So what is satellite? Satellite is anything. Satellite is basically a celestial body. It revolves around a planet. It revolves around a planet. Okay, and if we are talking about the types of satellite, there are two types: natural satellite and man-made. Natural satellite are also known as moon. And you know the history behind the moon. If I'll consider a sun here, let's revise the chapters which you have studied in your childhood. There is a sun and the first planet, if you know that what is the first planet? The first planet is the Mercury. First planet is the Mercury. And do Mercury has any moon? No moon. There is no moon, because if any celestial body will be there, it will be attracted by sun. Why it will be revolving around the Mercury? If there is any body, it will be attracted by the sun, right? Why it will be revolving around the Mercury? Similarly, the next planet is Venus. The next planet is Venus. These two planets do not have any moon. These two planets do not have moon, because if any big object will be there at this much of radius, it get attracted by the sun and it will be moving around the sun only. It might also happen, I think, means I also give theory once I drink. So you can say that this Venus could be the moon of the Earth, and it might happen that it goes far away and it got attracted towards the sun, and that's why it is moving in an orbit around the sun. And just after Mercury, Venus, Earth, we have our blue planet. The Earth. And here we are having one moon. But this moon is very far. We can't use it for any of the purposes. The only purpose which is left is to get the place there, and if any fight happens in the future, this will act as the space center for us. Okay, so that is the only work. And the other work is to get the rare earth material which we can use in various objects which might come in the technology later on. Just these are the only two things which we can do for the moon. As Venus is almost the same size of the Earth. It's just a theory. It could happen. It could happen that the Earth is bigger than what we are having Earth now, because it is also assumed that the Earth material what we are having here and also the material which is there in the moon is the same type of material. This is also there. Okay, let's move. So now there are orbits, types of satellites according to orbit. Orbit is basically a path. Orbit is, it's not a mouth pressure. It not a mouth freshener which you are using. It's basically a path followed by. It is basically a path followed by a satellite or celestial body. Path followed by a celestial body. Okay. So I am telling you that the types of satellite according to this will be, like, assume that there is a Earth, and in this, on this Earth, we are having a equator, we are having a North Pole and South Pole here and here. This is the equator, and if the orbit, if the orbit and the equator, orbit and equator plane are same, orbit and equator plane are same, this orbit is known as geostationary orbit. Geostationary orbit. And the satellite which moves in this orbit is known as geostationary satellite. And for the geostationary satellite, the time period is 24 hours. For the geostationary satellite, the time period is 24 hours. What if we have an inclined, this plane is inclined plane. If this plane is inclined plane, this plane is known as geosynchronous orbit. And in this geosynchronous orbit, the satellite is known as geosynchronous satellite. Here also the time period is 24 hours. Here also the time period is 24 hours. And the next thing is here. This is the polar orbit. And the polar orbit, we have polar satellite. Okay, this polar satellite is for military exploration. Basically, military uses this to see the movement. This is for weather forecasting. Okay, and this geostationary satellite is used for the communication. This geostationary satellite is used for the communication. As you have seen, if you have a dish TV at your home, if you all, which type, if you have dish TV at your home, you might have experienced it, that you have to keep First, you have to keep a dish TV, dish. Right? This is known as LNB. Here, there is LNB. This must be pointing towards a satellite, and this satellite is inside satellite, and this dish must always be facing this satellite, and when the earth is rotating, the satellite is also rotating. Okay, so why I'm telling this geostationary, because the time period is same, and it is like at rest with respect to the earth. The satellite here is at rest with respect to the earth. Is it clear? Yes, geosynchronous satellite vehicle. Sir, I learned all of this in 4th class as I like astronomy. I also like astronomy. Uh, if there is time, I'll be telling you the story about the stars and how the stars form, how the stars dies, how does galaxies forms, and we are just a small part of persons, I can say, those species in this galaxies. Like there are so many galaxies out there in this space, and in those galaxies there are so many I can say the what solar systems are there. Multiple solar systems are there, and those solar systems there are multiple planets, and in those multiple planets there could be life, and in those lives we are the one. So what's the relative between the angular and the g? That we will do. See, now we have to find out the orbital velocity. As you know that the satellite is revolving in an elliptical orbit, but for just for the calculation purpose, we are finding it out the orbital velocity, considering that the satellite is moving in a circular path. So I'm having a planet here, and there is a satellite. I'm considering this as R. Okay. And now if this is the satellite, this is the velocity which I'm telling you. The mass of the planet is m, and the mass of the satellite is small m. The mass of the planet is m, the mass of the satellite is m. The distance between them is r. So basically there will be a gravitational force between them. The gravitational force is g m divided by r square. This is the gravitational force. And you know that the net force towards the center is equivalent to the centripetal force. So you can compare it with the centripetal force, Fc, that is equals to mv square divided by r. You can cut this m with m, r with this r. You'll be getting the velocity, orbital velocity, as gm divided by r. And remember this r, I have taken it as that if this is a planet, of radius r at a height h, you are having a satellite. So I have taken this as r. Okay, so this is your orbital velocity. And if orbital velocity is clear to you, you can easily find out at what will be the kinetic energy here. Because if I'm talking about the energy of the satellite, you have to find out kinetic energy, and kinetic energy is so easy energy. Its formula remains same irrespective where you are getting this kinetic energy. The formula remains same, it is half mv square, and we have to replace this value. So you'll be getting gmm divided by 2r. So this is the formula which I am getting. And for the potential energy, you will be having gmm divided by r, right? So this is the first, this is the second. And if anybody asks you that what is the total energy, it's potential energy plus kinetic energy. And if you add them up, you'll be getting minus of gmm divided by 2r. This is what you will be getting. right? And here also remember this thing, that the potential energy is basically negative of kinetic energy. Remember this point. And the total energy is equals to negative of kinetic energy. Okay. And somebody is also asking me that, sir, what is the time period? So time period is very easy. If somebody is asking you the time, if I'm telling you that the time is circumference divided by velocity, so you can easily replace this 2 pi r divided by under root gm, and that will become 3 by 2, right? So if you will square this is the formula of the time period, and if you square this, you will be getting t square is equals to 4 pi square r cube divided by. So this is what we have studied earlier as well. So this is all about the gravitation. We have completed each and every topic, and I am telling you that what is the easiest way to revise this topic. What is the easiest way to revise this topic is just by reading the syllabus. This is the syllabus. I have to complete the 8 points here. I started with the Kepler's law. I told you that the Kepler's law is very easy to learn, and there is a shortcut trick to learn this Kepler's law. The shortcut was E. Then I moved to the universal gravitational law, which states that force is equals to G m1 m2 divided by r square. That is for the point masses. I told you how to use in the superposition principle, and also I told you that how to use a rod and a point mass. What if I'll bend the rod? Then acceleration due to gravity and its variation due to altitudes and height. These are the two things what we have completed. Like for an altitude, we got g dash will be equals to gm r plus h whole square, and for this we got g dash is equals to g1 minus d by r. So this is what we were following, and if h is less than 5%, I'll be using this formula g1 minus 2h divided by r. So these are the two things. Then we move towards the gravitational potential energy, gravitational potential, escape velocity, motion of a satellite. I told you that there are so many orbits which we will be following, and just after that we got the orbital velocity, time period, and the energy of the satellite. So these are the trends from the previous year questions, that how many questions you are getting from this chapter in JEE Main. So this chapter is very important, and even in JEE Advanced you will be getting one question from this chapter. So this chapter is not only important for the JEE Main, but also important for your JEE Advanced. So now tell me, any doubt? Sir, NIT Warangal branch-wise placement to 2023. It's see, do not depend upon me for seeing the branches, for seeing the placement. Just go to the JOSA website. If you have any doubt, go for the JOSA website, and in JOSA website you get every detail about the placement, every detail about, no, not for the placement you have to visit the NIT Warangal website. For cutoff you can visit this JOSA website. Okay. Any doubt, any topic which you want further clarification? No? So let's wind up here. And if you haven't joined our Telegram group, I'm telling you that please join our Telegram group. Join our Telegram group. Join Telegram channel, which is, the link is in the description. The notes will be there. The complete notes from this class will be there. So you, yeah. No doubt, sir. Thank you so much, Lavanya. Thank you for attending the live sessions, and I'll be attend all my sessions live, because I always tell to my student that if you attend the live sessions, your life will be great, and there will be less backlog, right? So bye bye. We will meet again in the next session, and do let me know in the comment sections which chapter do you want me to take in the next class. I'll be planning to take the kinematics. If your kinematics is good, I can go for the chapters from your class 12th, like current electricity, it's very important, or the modern physics I can start. Semiconductors I could take, atoms, nuclei, anything, whatever you want. Ray optics will take time. Ray optics is important, but ray optics is very big chapter, and we'll be getting only one questions from the ray optics. So it's better before we go for the very big chapters, we will be completing small chapters and get confidence, because I always told you that you can get more confidence when you are solving the question and you are getting the correct answer when you are matching it with the solution, right? So there is no another way of getting a confidence back. You have to solve multiple questions. You can win the game only by playing the game. So win the game, start playing the game, start doing the practice, and I'll be sharing a practice sheet with you as well. So stay there. Bye bye.